Welcome to Fallen Meteor. Wait, no, that's wrong. Welcome to Mayhem on Mandril, Act 3, Tales of the Revolution, Episode 37. I didn't do the thing and actually check what we're on. I'm pretty sure it's 37. Let's find out.
It's actually 12.
Definitely not correct. What do we got? Yes, we're at episode 37. Episode 36 was Unveiling Groger, where we found out that Groger's real name is, in fact, not Groger, which is possibly the funniest thing that could have happened. It was entirely unplanned. All right, where we specifically left off was Thursday afternoon, and a raven casually remarked about Siobhan giving her the silent treatment. We're just going to let that sit where it is. And the raven's gonna fly off again after its coy remark. And Siobhan will just have to deal with the implications of that. Which, what would Siobhan do in immediate response to that? Because she almost certainly knows that it's Seluna. What do you think?
Hello.
Hi.
Did you talk to me?
I did.
I heard none of that. I got a phone call.
Oh, cool. Well,
Yeah.
I said the raven, which you almost certainly know is Seluna, that coyly said you're giving her the silent treatment, just flew off. And was psychic, so it's not like anyone else in the room noticed.
I'm going to. How far away is it?
The raven?
Mhm.
Well, if you react quickly, it's going to be within 60 feet.
Okay. I think I can still talk psychically to it within a mile.
Okay.
Uh,
Certainly within that range.
I think it might not be that strong actually, but I guess I would ask, what do you want?
That's all? What do you want? Question?
What do you want with me? Mm-hmm.
Same thing I've always wanted. What you denied me.
Could you restate that? I mean, could you restate that, please?
You were born to be a vessel, and you denied your calling.
How about we don't say I denied it? How about I'm just taking some time to think about it?
Think all you want, darling. I'll be back.
Wait, I want to make. Fine. All right.
Gone. And Osnick goes, Siobhan, are you listening?
No, I absolutely am not.
Well, do better.
No. I need to talk to the leadership, and I guess you too.
Why, is something the matter?
Yes. I think a demon was surveilling the camp.
Oh. Well, great. I'm going to cast Private Sanctum real quick. Give me one moment, and then let me in the meantime. And he begins sending a message, and immediately casts sending to Malachi and says, Malachi, Siobhan says Siobhan says the camp is being stalked by a demon. Thoughts?
Private Sanctum. Immediately.
You're already on it.
I'll do it here if we can cover the entirety of the camp. If anyone else can cast it, then I think we should.
Where did I put you? Oh, you're eating. It's lunchtime. I forgot. We had the boys together. Post-interrogation.
Yeah. So that's basically what I say. Okay. Do it immediately and get anyone else who can to do it as well.
You can just cast message. You're within 120 feet. Easy. All right, great. Private Sanctum is going up. You doing the same thing? I'm pretty sure you can cover the entire camp. Or most of it. Because 100 feet is like Yeah, you could cover this entire square, just not the second segment of tents, but that's where all of your lower ranking unit men are split anyway. All of your commanders and brass are within this square, which you can cover.
I mean, if there's anyone else who can cast it, I would encourage them to as well.
And probably Gareth. I think Gareth could do it. Be doable, because I'm pretty sure it's not that high level of a spell. It's pretty low level, all things considered. If I recall. Let's pull it up. Private Sanctum. It's only 4th level. Oh, there's a billion people that can cast that. Alright, you can get the entire camp minus these other tents. You can set up basically 4 quadrants. Every tent in your eating area is covered by a protective barrier. If you would like, we can add that into the protocol for each day, even.
Yeah.
Map dispel. I can make this 200 wide.
I have an idea.
Okay.
Well, I guess it's something I would have to talk to Stuart about. Maybe enchanting some objects to sort of operate as barriers and just placing them around the camp.
Interesting. I don't know if Stuart would be able to do such a thing. Let's find by rolling this die in my funny dice tower. Yeah. No, he has no idea how to do that. He's frankly insulted at the fact that you think something so ludicrous would be possible. It's not magic, after all. I mean, it's not rocket science. It's magic. You can't just do anything like that. So no, Stuart says it's impossible.
Yeah, well, Malachi disagrees, but he's not going to argue with him.
Yeah, it's difficult to argue with Stuart. On the other hand, though, while we're doing that, because unless there's anything anyone immediately wants to do, I'm just going to start working through our chores here. Sloan is a looming threat. It has been introduced. I'm sure people around the camp will have been told. Private Sanctum will be a standard issue spell at this point. For those of you who don't recall, you cannot do planar travel. You can't teleport in or out. You can't be divinationed through it, so no scrying or other nonsense.
Question.
Yes.
And we scry out of it.
I don't think so, but let me read. It says creatures in the area can't be targeted by divination spells. It doesn't say you can't target. I think you're good, because just because you're in the area, it stops like receiving signals, but you can send stuff out from it. So yeah, you're fine.
Okay.
Okay. We got that going up. Area of water appears dark and foggy. Something, including dark vision. Dark vision can't even see through it. Okay. So here's how this works now. A dark fog now envelops a square area around the entire camp. Uniting the 4 borders for convenience, I will say that the midsection where the 4 100 square foot areas would be united dissolve as a larger barrier is created by 4 copies of the spell. Pretty crazy. But now you guys are safe from scrying and prying eyes. Congrats. There's your little
Kanye.
barrier.
Very cool.
Okay. Now, here comes the funds. Blood tests are going on, interrogations are going on. For the rest of the day, they're going to go smoothly. Does anyone have anything they want to do today? Reminder, our to-do list is Danuk. Steward will begin working on a magic item that allows teleportation and plane shift. We can discuss how the archives is going to work in character or just out of character at a high level. And then we're pretty much going to speedrun the elves' arrival. Unless we're going to try to get to the archives before then.
I think we would want to. I want to move some people there who aren't going to be in the fight.
All right.
It could still assume it's going to be a fight.
Then we should probably talk about that. I'm thinking a lot of these logistics are probably going to come down to Vesper, Malik, and Malachi. I mean, Bloppletup can be in on some of these conversations, I'd imagine. I don't know what we're doing with Grodger. I think he's still on sick leave. So, I don't know if he's invited to that table. But
Siobhan is checking on him when she can.
okay, excellent. In the mental illness tent. Who is he? Who's he at? Oh yeah, you didn't hear about that, did you, Brendan?
No.
Yeah, Groger came back and was acting kind of weird, so he got put in a tent so that Evan Higgins, your non-cleric medic, can evaluate them. And Julia just spends time in there socializing, because otherwise she's in a tent like by herself. Anyways, oh look, it's FS. What's he doing down here? Why is it?
That's what the blood tests are for.
As much as I want to canonize there being 2 FS due to this little mistake, I think that's a little much. So I'm just gonna collect the air and move on. Although that is funny, I do like that. FS, make a. What's your passive percent? We'll just say, FS, as you're sitting down the table, you could have sworn that you saw a copy of yourself gathering food and then it disappeared before your very eyes. It was like you from the past getting food, but he vanished and nobody else seemed to acknowledge his existence. It was crazy. Make a wisdom save.
Fella's a time traveler.
That'd be what? Alright. Okay. Do we want to talk high level how this archive teleportation nonsense is going to work? Or do you want to talk in character about it? This is mainly a Malachi question, I think. I don't think anyone else is going to understand it.
So what's the deal with putting up a permanent teleportation circle in the archives?
Yes.
Are you asking that as Vesper or?
I don't know.
What you decide whether I ask that in character or not.
Yeah, I'm leaving it up largely to you, John. And if Jacob's doing the same thing, it's your call. High level meta discussion or actual in character discussion?
Fine, I'll do it as Malachi.
Alright, great. Then I'm
Okay.
going to get Osnick, and we'll say that it's the end of the day, and we should all probably meet in the Sorcerers of Mayrim's tent. And I think Malik should be in on this too, because this decision will affect him. Alright. We all good with this lineup? For our little meeting? Any opposed?
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
Sure. Alright.
Sure.
We cluing Bloppletop in on this or no? Or
Yeah,
FS
bring it.
or anything?
He might get some godly help that we might need.
Okay. Alright, Bloppletop. I think, do you have any major? I think everything else can pretty much be communicated to you guys. I just realized I've created a separate problem for myself where now I have to remember what tents these people were in that they moved from. I think I got it perfectly though. I'm putting Groger in the mental illness tent. There it is.
Honestly, he should have been in there from the start.
Okay. Alright. School is over. School is out. I don't know where Siobhan is at, actually.
Kidnapped by the demons.
Huh?
Hope she's not kidnapped by the demons. She just got back.
No, I just don't know where she's at. Maybe I could pair her with Julia.
No, she's alright.
Okay.
She'll sleep up.
Alright,
Yeah.
I'll just give you a 10. It's fine. I wasn't gonna have you be like by yourself.
Did you not put her with the other spellcasters?
They're all men. That's not we don't do that here. We don't do co-ed bunks. So thinking.
So they're not in camps based on what they can do. It's based on what they got.
It's both. I mean, when you have like it's okay, with Siobhan it's a little different. When you have the units that are like mostly men and a few women, yeah, sure, they'll do it as long as there's no problems, which there probably have been on an occasion, which results in women kind of getting their own things. With Siobhan, it's a definite, absolutely not putting her with the other men because she's a 14-year-old girl. So that's a no. So I could put her with Rain, or I could put her with the female captains. I think the captains are there's like a female captain with male captains. That's not a problem.
Okay.
I'm
Just-
gonna put her with Genevieve Dalton. I'm gonna have Genevieve Dalton take care of you. You know her. She was one of the people that went on a diplomatic mission that succeeded.
Hmm.
She's a human. She's pretty smart, pretty witty. I don't know what to do with Rain. Rain's probably still at the house, like a mile away. Oh, that's a good question. Are you gonna be at the house still, outside of the private sanctum? In Beatrice's guest room? Or do you want to move locations?
It's the hardest thing you've ever asked me.
Yeah.
Um, they'll use it from time to time. He'll just cast it when he's there.
Okay. Fair. Will you sleep in it still?
Um, yeah.
Okay. All right. Not an immediate issue, but anyway, back to the matter at hand. Evening approaches. We are gathered for our discussion. All right. Everybody ready?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Great. You all sit down. Osnick says, all right. Thank you all for being here. So, this is about the archives. Gareth and I have done some talking, and it's been a while since I had created a teleportation circle. It can be a bit of an involved process. So, there's several components to this. First, we've reviewed it, and we're going to assume, by the way, out of character, that Malachi's been caught up on how teleporting works, but we're not gonna teach it to him directly. Stuart is gonna work on an item. So we're good with that?
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. So Osnick says, as you know, Stuart is actively preparing an item that should hopefully allow us to plane shift and teleport, though not simultaneously. It's in the early stages, so at this point I would just recommend leaving him to his work for a few days. I assigned someone, I think Dewey. I told Dewey to make sure that Stuart gets what he needs for that. Dewey seems to have a good relationship with the dwarves at this smith or forge or whatever we'll call it. So anyways, that's in the works. Outside of that, though, getting back to the archives is still not going to be the easiest thing. To get there for the first time, we'll need to obviously teleport. No circle is going to be possible. In order to do that, the process will be as follows. An individual will cast Encode Thoughts, perhaps myself or another member of the Sorcerers of Mayhem. Another will cast Detect Thoughts, so that we can see what was in the archives. Vesper, I believe you have the sharpest memory, in which case we would likely want to do that to you. It's a very simple process, painless. All you need to do is think and concentrate. Outside of that, we do the rest. Once the person who's going to be teleporting us there sees the archives and becomes acquainted with it, there's a relatively high rate of success. It is not guaranteed. It is never guaranteed unless we had some item that was linked to the archives themselves. Which brings us to our next point of discussion. Malachi.
Well, if you're able to look at two people's thoughts, my staff here does come from the archives.
That could work.
My preference is that we use that because we do not want the Eladrin. We do not want to appear there.
Correct. If we can lock in an associated object, there is a 0% chance of failure. Now, the difficulty with something like this staff is we don't exactly know where it's been. It could be hundreds of years old, meaning that if we were to use that as a focus, we could end up in quite unexpected areas.
What about the key to the seal of Yule?
That was actually going to be my proposal. Yes, I had thought of it earlier this morning. That key is something I don't imagine could have been created much earlier than the archives themselves, and has resided likely its entire lifespan within said archives. Its very essence is of the archives. I think if we're able to hone in on that as a focus, we'll be able to get back to the interior of the archives perfectly, with no problem. In addition to doing the encoding of thoughts and detecting of thoughts, just to be safe, so that we know in general that we have a fail-safe, per se. Either way, if we all do that correctly, I think it's foolproof. The harder part is going to be reliably getting there without incurring immense costs. Teleportation circles can be set up. Permanent ones, not so easily. I recall the process that it took for us to get the teleportation circle up in the old halls of the Sorcerers of Mayhem. Malachi, you saw it. I'm sure you still remember the sigils. In fact, I may even be able to teach you the spell so that you could teleport there. But the issue, if you recall, Malachi, is how long does it take to create a teleportation circle? Roll history.
Oh, so Malachi doesn't know. Okay.
Yeah, he's quizzing you. Because he taught you this.
Yeah, I know, but I have to roll to see if he knows.
I think you have to roll to see if you know what the answer is.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Because he taught it to you, but it was years ago, and it's very niche information. I'm just going to pull up
60.
Sable over here. 60. Okay, you remember. It takes a year of consistent casting every day.
Mm.
So,
That's a lot of money.
it's not so much the money that's the issue, it's the time. Casting Teleportation Circle is not the most painful of spells. It's something I know that Malachi could grasp at this point. If not, he's exceedingly close to it. The issue is the time. And then is a gem cost associated, although, of course, Stuart has a supply of those. They're being rationed to our items and other things. Convincing him of parting from them is one difficulty. Luckily, the dwarves are working on that as well. Anyways, the issue is time. It would take us a year to create a fully formed, permanent teleportation circle within the archives. Now, we can simply teleport to and from it, but as I've described, this is what's called a 7th level spell slot, of which only the most experienced of casters have one, and perhaps another a level above it, but that essentially only means 1 to 2 casts of teleport a day. And teleportation circle, which is better but useless to us outside of the period of a year, unless we can think of something else, is a 5th level spell, much more economical. But this is where we are. Essentially, the same process we used to attempt to bring Groger back, we would have to engage in here. Unless, of course, Stuart gets us that item, but even then, he says he doesn't think it would be possible to perform more than 1 a day, if that.
Additionally, making multiple is no longer safe. What if we made this other items not as powerful, meaning you can't use it to teleport to wherever you want, but what if it was locked to only one location?
That is actually good news. Stuart talked to me about this. The issue he's been having with his design is the abstraction. Because teleport requires either a memory or an item, it would be much easier for him to design something that could simply use that as a conduit. He's confident he can do that. And if he's not too far past his prototyping stage, we may be able to get something exactly akin to what you're speaking. Essentially, then, what we would do is the same thing we're talking about now, but with the item. I would encode a thought, detect from Vesper or you, Malachi, and we would take that physical strand of memory and place it within this amulet or stopwatch, whatever it is that Stuart is creating, and it would be used as a conduit.
I imagine we do a ring, and we only give it to the people that we truly trust most.
Ring. I could talk to Stuart about it. The issue is the storage. Making an item... Making such a powerful item in such a delicate casing would be difficult. Stuart is already complaining about his lack of resources. I think a ring would be stretching it, but an amulet, a box, we'll talk about the form factor. The point is, if we're going to create something, it's very feasible that we can have something that accepts a conduit, and it can be smaller than a bread box.
Well, this archive, it's old, yes, powerful. It's got... What are the odds that there is already a teleportation circle there?
It's extremely unlikely, says Gareth. The elves There now, the Eladrin have become regressed in their understanding of magic. And should a circle go too long unmaintained, it will wither, much like our. Even
Yeah.
more, I do not want to put a damper on these plans, but have we considered the possibility that teleporting in would be blocked by some other form of magic?
Well, it's better that we try.
It is possible, yes, but if we can make an item that accepts a conduit, even if it doesn't work for getting us into the archives, we still have a useful tool for the future. Yes, this is true. But yes, Malachi, the archives are ancient. Older. Oh, no, they're not as old as me. Not as far as I understand the timeline that we've put together. But I've lived many years. The archives are likely half of my age, if not more. That being said, the magic under which they were developed may be different from what we are used to. Perhaps you could speak more to this, Malachi, witnessing it yourself, but I'm not certain that magic flows the same in the Feywild as it does the material plane. It can be more radical, unpredictable, and things which would not be possible in the ways we have them written on the material plane may be possible, which can be a weakness and a strength. Well, I hadn't considered that. I don't think it would change any of our plans. If anything, I'd imagine the potent magic would be more in our favor. Simply more dangerous. Yes.
Agreed.
Either way, it seems we have a base plan, which is have Steward create a not general teleport, but a teleporter that can receive a conduit and then operate off of that. In which case, if that's made, as soon as it's made, we can attempt to get to the archives using the key as a conduit, or even encoding of thoughts, or perhaps even both. I will speak to Stuart about the relative possibility of each. I know I could cast such a thing, but formulating that magic into an item, the type of artificing that I've not dabbled in.
Well, it may not be artificing, but rather enchanting. But
The art forms are quite related. In my own experience, anyways.
just I just suggest we do something. Can't wait with conjecture. I can't wait. We must try. We must succeed. That's simply it.
And I'll ensure that Steward meets his deadlines. When exactly are we planning on this trip? I know Steward said he needed at least 2 days to get a prototype.
Then in 2 days we go to the archives. Simple as that.
All right, I'll give him the news.
Just gonna look around at everyone like any disagreements.
Leak's good.
Sounds fine to me.
Excellent.
All right, cool. Okie dokie. All right. Well, next up.
Oh, I have a question.
Yes.
So remember we had this crystal ball and we used it to spy on people one time.
Yep, that's Steward's.
Could I use that to, in the crystal ball, see the archives?
I'm pretty sure, yes.
And could, if the others see, would that also allow them to see into the archives directly?
Yeah, it's just a little bit more expensive than doing the encode thoughts, detect thoughts combo. But I think... Let me read this, because I always get these ones mixed up. Open both of these. The scrying is 5th level.
I wasn't going to cast Scry. I'm going to cast, I think it was Clairvoyance.
That could work. Encode thoughts and detect thoughts is still way cheaper. It's doing this like you can do what you're describing, but detect thoughts is second level concentration, and then that person can just encode those thoughts. So it's a cantrip and a second level spell versus a fourth or a fifth level spell to achieve relatively the same goal.
Well, I use mine as a ritual, so it would just take 10 minutes.
Okay, well that's fair. That'd be doable. You'd have to talk to Stuart about setting that up. Because it's clairvoyance, which I think he has his crystal ball set up to scry, but clairvoyance is a little different.
By the way, speaking of the archives,
100 GP.
I have these spell scrolls that I don't think I can use.
What spells?
Um,
Anything
Sleep,
we would know? Wow, that's a
hold
simple one.
person,
Useful.
mass healing word,
Okay, simple.
banishment, and feeble mind.
Those are good, I suppose. Yes.
Testicular torsion.
I'm pretty sure this last one is 8th level.
Feeble mind.
Feeble
Mhm.
mind.
Yeah, it's terrible. I love it.
Yeah, that's a pretty awful one, to be honest.
Banishment's also really fun.
All right. I looked it up and it goes, well, these all seem simple. I've never heard of feeble mind. Girth goes, oh, a wretched spell indeed. One of great power.
Malachi looks like he's heard of it for sure. He's a kid who was reading up on all the spells. He learned it someday.
Yeah. As it goes, I don't know how I never came across this one. Oh, yes. Psychic damn. Yeah, yes, yeah. Vaguely familiar. Never learned it myself. Quite frightening. Well, we'll make good use of these. Thank you very much, Mr. Ink Talon. Alright, I need to probably write down, what did you just give me?
I'll put it in the chat.
Okay, great. Most excellent. I could essentially duplicate some of them.
Oh, why did it copy like that? It copied as an image. Why would you do that? I just copied from OneNote. It's text. Come on.
Xanathar's Guide. Oh, enchant item. There's rules for this? What the heck? Oh no, this is just some dude talking about it. Same resources as spell components. Yep, yeah, okay. Xanathar is a different brush, yeah. Yeah. Alternate. Buying a magic. Crafting. This is just crafting item. This isn't crafting a magic item. Buying a magic. Billion magic items. Crazy. Didn't see any of this. Okay, interesting. Boots of speed! Bracers of archery! Oh, those are so good. So good. Alright, anyway, I need to stop reading this. What are we doing? What are we doing now? Copy these down. The next thing on my to-do list, probably another Malachi thing. Unfortunately, where it is. Unless anyone else wants to talk to Danuk. I don't know when we're doing that.
Jasper was going to be in that conversation.
Sure, I speak Draconic.
That probably would make that easy. Alright, let me write down items given to Mayhem. Alright, are we doing that Friday morning?
When is it?
It's currently Thursday afternoon / evening that we just wrapped up and planned with Stuart getting his schedule on the magic item production.
We can't do that Thursday night.
But you could do it Thursday night. You got time.
Yeah, we're packing as much as we can into a day.
Packing it in. Alright, hold up. Pull up my 87th billionth tab. What's funny about the a teleport spell. Just verbal component. Everything else is mental. Which is why it's a nightmare for Stuart to try to create, but it's also really good because it's going to be super cheap for him to create something that just takes an input as the teleportation focus. It's just going to take a lot of time for him to make it. But that's like ideal. He's not going to be able to do plane shift in the same time, but we'll get back to that later. All right, the Danuk conversation. Is this Vesper and Malachi?
Sure.
All right. Where are we having the talk?
In Malik's tent.
Malik gonna be there?
Can he speak Draconic?
I don't think so.
Weird.
I actually... Would he have learned it before the coup?
He never learned it.
Then no. I don't think he knows it.
That would be a sign of if he inherited any powers.
Yeah, no, he does not speak Draconic.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, he can be there if he wants to.
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
can just.
it's his tent, so he'll sit. But yeah. All right. In which case, I guess after the meeting, what exactly? How would we set this up? Danuk did tell you to talk to him. I guess Malik is just going to turn to you and say, "So did you want to talk to Danuk tonight?"
Yes.
Well, he should be in the tent. He hasn't been exactly perusing the camp as of late. In which case, I suppose you're welcome to come in. Right, Malik enters his tent. I assume you're following?
No, I'm just gonna shove him aside and walk in front of her.
Great, okay. And Danuk is in the rafters, and Malik says, "Danuk, is Malachi, Vesper, I understand you wanted to have a word with them." Danuk says, "Yes, that is correct. Things are, there are some items to discuss."
Random question. How neat is this tent?
Pretty neat. There's just a lot of scrolls, papers, notepads, and some barrels in it.
Are his are his bedrolls like neatly rolled up and stuff?
Yes. The problem is it's just cluttered. It's storing a lot of stuff.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna walk over
Mm-hmm.
while staring Malik in the face.
Okay.
Like, make it all disheveled.
What are you doing?
I've missed out on several years of bullying you.
This seems highly unnecessary.
Good. Carry on, Danuk.
Well, and then he switches to Draconic. If you wish, and I would prefer it, we could speak in my native tongue. You speak Draconic, as I understand. Malik just looks up a little bewildered.
Mm-hmm.
You good?
Mm-hmm. I was trying to speak Draconic, it didn't work.
Okay, I thought you were sneezing or dying or something. I was like, I don't follow. And Vesper speaks Draconic, right? As
Yeah.
well, yeah? Okay, that's fun.
I don't know if it's supposed to sound like parcel tongue
I
or
don't know. I've never thought about it.
I just made
All right.
noises. I knew it. It
Great.
didn't work. I clearly don't speak it.
Well, anyway, Danuk says, you speak Draconic, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Ah, you as well. Excellent. The sensitivity of what I'm discussing, it's not as if I don't want Malik to be clued in. It's more so that the concepts I need to divulge are a little advanced for me to resort to common. No offense.
None taken. Just get on with it, please.
Right. Essentially, as you're aware, there are many gods, and the god I serve is not the god you serve, but they're not opposed, which is the good news. The bad
So-
news is there's been some friction. You know what I mean by that?
No, not quite. I'm still a little caught by the fact that you, as a metallic dragon, do not worship Bahamut, but carry on.
I have no problem with Bahamut. In fact, my service is to him in a way, though more so as an ambassador, one could say. I directly serve Primus. Bahamut and Primus are not exactly friends, but they are watchdogs. Neither are dogs, but they're both watchful gods, much like Helm. But their areas of authority do not often overlap, nor do their means of conflict resolution. Primus is very rules-oriented, and the rules trump everything else. The rules define life itself. Bahamut prizes life as a virtue, life being that which lives, not life being the systems by which we live. That is where Primus and Bahamut differ. Primus sees systems, Bahamut sees beauty. The ideas are not opposed, but they can clash. So, the issue is thus. Primus is concerned. Essentially, it's not as if you've done anything explicitly wrong. In fact, Primus has taken quite an interest in this group, particularly because he and Bahamut, well, Primus and Bahamut have a coordinated goal that they're building towards. A goal that you could help us achieve. But Primus is the god of many things, one of which is time, one of the ultimate laws of the universe. And that is a domain we have now begun playing with. And if we are to play with time, there are very strict rules as to what can be done with it. Because while I say play, time is anything but a game. Would you like the good news or the bad news first?
Yeah, please.
Something is going to have to be done about this spell that was cast over the land, this shift. It's causing problems. Problems around time. That's the bad news.
And the good?
The good is Primus is impressed. The Feywild is not a place to his liking. The realm itself plays with time as if it's some sort of joke, as if it's a fickle thing that can be manipulated, tossed about, undone, and redone, all in the same order. In fact, the Feywild in its totality is a place devoid of all of the principles by which Primus defines the virtues of life. Systems. The Feywild usurps all systems of hierarchy, of magic, of order, sanity, and of time. We and Vitris, before us, undertook a means by which to bring the Feywild under the control of the greater system of time. Vitris is someone who, while I'm not certain he worships Primus, very much shares Primus's ideals of order, structure, and systems. And the spell that he engineered to unite the time of the material plane with the Feywild got Primus's attention. When we arrived and performed a variation of the same thing, we also acquired Primus's attention, something I was not unaware of. The issue is he's grown a little wary. There is that one rule which he does not allow to be broken when it can be helped. Time must always flow forward and never backwards. The issue with what has been done here is that were we to plane shift back, time would do just that, flow backwards. One of the sacred rules and systems of life would be violated. We are not in violation at this moment, but at any time, anyone, merely by principle of what we have done, could incidentally violate it. Whereas the system Vitrus created brought more order, ours maintained a semblance of order but introduced an additional degree of chaos, one that would result in the system being broken, undone. Are you both following?
Yes.
It is for this reason that the spell cannot be maintained indefinitely, and in fact should be reverted, if possible. Some assistance could be granted on that front. You are both looked upon largely in favor by the gods that you serve, and hopefully it stays that way. But we are not the only ones who serve gods, and there are many eyes upon us at any one time, both of mortals and of beings beyond our sight. And the reason for that being the case, even more so than it normally is a threat that I'm sure you are all well aware of. A certain deep gnome who has been breaking more rules than anyone else in the material plane, and has likewise attracted Primus's very rare ire. Not only has he enraged Primus, but Bahamut too is displeased. For though you have seen a fraction of what he's done, his atrocities in the violation of both the systems and sanctity of life have incurred the ire of Bahamut.
When you say the sanctity of life, what exactly has he done?
Slavery, torture, manipulation, the changing of memories, the altering of what is and isn't real, the violation of free will, the core tenets of what was given to us in this realm, being stripped away.
I have to wonder, you may not know this. What do you know of the Moon Lord in connection with, let's say, cults?
Not as much, I'm afraid. It's something that I have very little personal experience with, but rather I was warned of it through premonitions that have only now become more clear and solidified as I interacted with you. Although it took me some time to determine the nature of our relationship and who exactly it is that you were serving. The only cult that I know of is one I have also been warned of in premonitions, which is that which the young half-elf may have interacted with. Though as far as I understand or have been warned, that cult is unrelated to that of the Moon Lord. In a way, it is much worse, and in another way, it is not nearly so bad.
Interesting. So, am I to take from this that Primus would prefer that we end our spell, the one thing that is protecting our camp, at least for now? You'd prefer that we ended it?
I'm afraid that is the case, although Bahamut has been advocating for us, so far as I am aware.
Well, I'm not one to make light of what a god would require, but I'm also a man who has been taught from an early age not to ignore when a proposition could be had.
Indeed. I will say what Primus requires, what is written in his code, is that his laws cannot and will not be broken. That law is that, as I've stated, time must never flow in reverse. Not when he can do something about it. But at the same time, Primus, for much of his existence, has operated under a separate law of impartiality, which has bound him from taking much direct action on his own. And this is largely why he and Bahamut are also in agreement on using others who are within the world to enact their will, so as not to become demigods themselves, but to rather forward their agendas through diplomacy, reason, and logic. What is required is that the law must not be broken. What is preferred is that the timelines be resolved before the possibility of them being broken is dragged out. But, as I said, it is not as if either god is unsympathetic to our rationale, cause, and reasoning. I simply wanted to bring to your attention that we've been called to a higher purpose.
Well, that is all well and good, and I do understand, being someone who has occasionally had a wrench thrown by a god once or twice. I suppose if we were to end this, understanding that he is impartial, what if a deal was made that in exchange for us ending it early, what could be offered to us as a boon of some sort? Of course, knowing that I serve a being of diplomacy, I am not trying to, how would you say, shake down a god, but...
Not that you could shake down Primus. The
Exactly.
good news is, as I hesitate to call it, prophet, an ambassador of Bahamut and a student of Primus, I can give you the answer with certainty, because I know the rules. You can't exactly strike a deal with Primus on your own terms, but he has many terms already laid out. Something such as this would be considered an accommodation for his preference, not a violation of his law or anything of the sort. Therefore, no punishment is to be enacted, unless, say, there are violations which are incurred in the future. Let's ignore that for now. Assuming that this accommodation is made, the degree to which the accommodation is, in terms of effort expended, is quantified. Now, I don't exactly know the terms, even in Draconic. Many of the concepts Primus operates on exist in a language even I do not speak. But the short of it is, your sacrifice will be measured exactly, and a reward will be given exactly, proportionate to what was taken from you. What
And there
Primus... Yes?
What if perhaps, what if perhaps I had an idea as to what could be useful to us that could be perhaps granted?
Well, it's not as if you could make a suggestion, but if what you have in mind aligns with the quantifiable redemption protocol of points earned per se, this is a rough metaphor, then Primus would simply delineate based on the closest category of your desire.
Well, I'll just state it. We would like the establishing of a teleportation circle.
Good play.
I am not certain what that would map to. I'll need to do some reading. When I return, I should have some semblance of an answer for you.
Yes, you see, I'm not saying this simply to be greedy or advantageous, but we are giving up time. And with time, we have given up protection. And all I seek in return is a way that I can protect our people as well. a teleportation circle to the archives will allow us to do such. I think it's a fair trade.
Time for time.
Yes, time for time.
I think I know where I need to read. I'll get back to you on that, and by the end of it, I should have an answer.
Beautiful.
Primus has given everything I need to advocate and delineate his rules to you directly. In which case, the next time we speak, I shall have an answer.
Go with Bahamut's blessings.
If he won't straight up establish the circle, then a reduction in the amount of time it takes, equivalent to the amount of time we're fixing at least, would be better. Acceptable.
I support that as well.
Fear not. All of this is outside of our hands. I am simply going to take the information you gave me, read the necessary mandates and procedures, and I will return with the only answer that can be given. Or perhaps a short series of predetermined options. Consider the fact that there is nothing, relatively nothing, you could propose that Primus has not already delineated.
Agreed. Agreed. However, as my father once said, it doesn't hurt to ask.
It certainly does not, if one has the right countenance and grace. In which case, gentlemen, I think I'll be off for a late night flight. Okay.
Well, please be careful. There are demons out there.
So I've been told.
Well, the spell has bought us time to set things up. We have scouts, we have traps, we have early warning systems. So hopefully ending it won't be disastrous.
Yes, we can't say that we've been idle during this time. Just, I wish we could be more prepared.
We always kind of were working on a timetable of them assuming that someone would have gone through on the very first day that they could have, and so we've already passed to the earliest possible point that they could have arrived.
This is true. Well, we'll hope for the best. And then I think Malachi and I guess Vesper probably will film a leak in on the conversation.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's just probably gonna go, Primus, what the time? What? Huh? Thought he would have said Bahamut. What?
Primus sounds interesting.
Primus
Very much
is
Mm-hmm.
a god I would get along with.
Yes, well, and I say this carefully as a prophet, whatever that means. I think we've encountered quite enough non-mortals for some time.
We seem to attract them like flies to honey. Not to imply that they're flies, but
Yes.
metaphor.
Perhaps we're the flies and they're the honey.
No.
Roger's been outside the tent the whole time. He just goes, no. He walks away.
No, I think it's the nature of the quest we're on. At first, I thought it was simply taking back Lucine, but it appears we've stumbled ourselves into numerous crosshairs, and now our quest is one that, well, without aggrandizing ourselves, seems to carry much weight. Part of me thinks it's awesome. The other part would just like to take a long nap and pretend this was all a dream.
Well, I can definitely say this is a lot of information, but it does make a lot of what Danik would say to me make a little bit more sense. He's always very concerned with the timetables of things. I remember one thing he always said is, Malik, a well-planned, perfectly executed attack at the wrong time makes all the difference.
Curious. I wish you'd said some of that to us earlier. You know, in time. Anyway,
Never fully understand how a dragon's brain works.
We have a bit of a trip to plan because we're going to have to go back out to where we cast it, if memory serves.
beautiful.
Memory does serve. All right. Well, well, well. Next up is the funny teleport. That's all I have on the list. I mean, the interrogation is going to continue. Austin's going to do his blood tests.
Have they found anyone?
I'm going to go through my list. You know what I'm going to do? What this? Jump to Friday afternoon if everyone's okay with that. Going from
Is
Thursday
that
night.
also, that's not also when we're supposed to do that spell, is it?
What spell?
Sorry, not the spell. When he should be finished. What's his name?
No, Steward is going to be done at the end of. So he needs 2 days from when you talked. So he needs all of Friday, all of Saturday, which means Sunday morning he should have it. Which is a few days before the elves are scheduled to come on Tuesday. Which you are going to be specifically told. At some point, once I actually get this done, time slot in, Danuk is going to specifically tell you on Friday, hey, I'm still reading, and I don't have an answer for your proposal yet, but I was given information. Tuesday, August 10th, 1632, 1:38 p.m. Expect company.
Beautiful.
Well,
Who knows?
sounds like the
Perhaps I will
spell
live
is
to be.
useless at
I'll
this
live
point.
to see another birthday. Beautiful.
When is your birthday?
Hmm?
When is your birthday? Okay.
4 days. 4 days after that,
You just made it yours?
I did that like over 2 years ago, 3 years
Oh,
ago.
you're such a
I think it would come up.
baby. No, it didn't come up. Crazy.
Dirk Digger of Graves has my birthday. He deserves
Yeah,
it.
I've never
Easily.
made a character that has my birthday. Not once in my life.
That's psychotic.
Yeah. Okay, good. It's not just me. I was like,
I thought he was.
this is
I thought he was
I
saying.
think it would be
I
psychotic
thought he
if
was
I made
saying you are psychotic.
if I made all of my characters have my birthday, then we could talk. But it's just
Okay, all
it's
right.
the one
Come
guy.
on, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Statistically, that makes more sense.
Fair, I guess. All right. So what were we going to do? That's right. I need one of these. I'm going to do this. Do this. Boom. Who's that? Let's find out. Yeah. Boom, boom, boom. Interesting. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Austin, you want an update on how your blood tests have been going? Brandon,
Uh,
you with us?
yeah.
I'm having you do your blood tests. There's some
Okay.
fun things coming up. So the whole point is that you're doing blood tests in reverse order of rank, and then by unit once you get to the lower ranks. The first people
Wait.
you're testing are officers.
Okay.
So
Officers down.
yes,
Gotcha.
there's one officer that you test early this morning. You take his name after he gets interrogated. He says his name is Schwain. Okay. You take his blood.
Schwain,
Schwain.
like Shane, but with a W.
With a W. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Already suspicious. Not a real name. Now, you take his blood. Okay. You analyze it. It's acidic, but it's not the same color, and it's not as strong of an acid.
What is Schwain?
I've already been fooled by this shit once, dude.
Well, here's what you got to do, Mr. Ossian. You take the blood. It's like suspect. It's somewhere between normal human blood and the blood that you're used to testing. What do you want to do?
Now, I'm an expert at this point, right?
Pretty much.
So, if I were to just punch the shit out of him right now,
Yeah.
would he just turn into a monster?
Only maybe. Unlikely.
Okay, I guess my real question is, do I know if they
Turn into monsters when they're hurt?
yes.
Okay, good question. They don't. When they're killed, they revert to their true form. Until then, they can choose to go back to their true form if they're hurt, but there's nothing requiring them to do so.
What if I knock him out?
Stays in the shifted form.
Shit, really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What if he pees on them?
Don't ask that question.
I think I would know the answer, Trevor. You got to answer this question.
You do know the question, or what? I just answered it, right? If you knock them out, then what? If you
No,
pee on them?
Yeah.
No, it's not going to reveal them.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
But at least I know the answer. That means I had to try it before.
You don't have to pee on them, yeah, because you did it.
Would have been
You
our
didn't do
secret
anything.
weapon.
So his blood smells slightly more acidic than normal.
Yes. Yeah. And Swain goes, so, what's this for?
What race is he?
He looks like a human. Pretty swarthy, pretty tan, but out in the sun. Very short, light brown beard, kind of balding on the top.
So, Schwain,
Yeah.
where are you from?
Well, I've been all over the place. I've been in Corsair for a little bit, but then I moved over to Lucine, worked in House Taylor for a while. About 8 or 9 years it's been, but things were real messy there. I mean, real messy. Contract work was smooth in Corsair. Taylor was just it's a big mess all the time.
These guys, sorry, the whatever they're called, the mimic guys, they get the memories, right?
They do.
Well, Schwain, you're a special case here, right?
What do you mean by that?
Oh fuck, I forgot the southern accent.
You did. It's pretty funny.
Well, Schwain, you're a little bit of a special case here.
All
Right.
right. All right.
Um,
Okay. Yeah.
As I've been stationed here, I've been honored with the responsibility of finding certain beings like yourself. Now,
Certain beings
as
yourself. What does that mean by that?
what are they called again? I forgot the
You call them
name of them.
doppelgangers.
Doppelgangers. Well, as a doppelganger, we like to promote you to an even higher position.
All right. I'm gonna stop you right there. Now you're not completely off the money. I won't lie, but I'm not a doppelganger. I'm a changeling.
A changeling.
Yes, a lot of people get confused by the difference there. Doppelgangers are like they're like my more unpleasant cousins. Not fun to be around, but changelings are a little well, there's bad apples. There's a lot going on there, but in general, the whole let's say the reproduction process, to put it nicely, is very, very different.
I understand. Now, that means you're an entirely different race than these doppelgangers.
That's true. We share some stark similarities, but very, very, very different.
I understand. So,
So, for example, and I don't mean to do this to scare you, but he changes his face to look exactly like yours. And he says, "You see, I have a very special gift for mimicry. Anytime I see someone or hear something for a long enough time, I can approximate it pretty easily. But for the most part, unless it comes to espionage," and he switches back to the light beard and balding on top. Anyway, I just try to stay out of trouble.
now, me personally, as the person in charge of this sort of thing, I do have a few questions for you. Now, number one is you claim to be a good apple.
I am, yes. I'm a good apple to good apples, that is.
Yeah.
Good boy.
Why have you not brought this to upper echelon's attention earlier?
Well, that's where it gets a little confusing. See, some of that upper echelon knows about this, but it's a very select few. I think the only people who know, just to not freak out the men in the camp, are Malik and Orion. Orion Nightshade is the person I personally worked for during some of my time when I had become a spy, shall we say, at House Taylor before things went really belly up. And after that, we banded up. It's pretty easy for me to get around and get from place to place. I just got to change my clothes, and I'm gone. So he knows, Malik knows, but in the interest of not freaking out the men, we kept it like that. It's better for intel too that people don't know, because if I ever do need to go undercover, I could do it as for all I care, I could do it as that Graja guy, and no one would ever know.
I see. Well, can I insight check?
Yes, always.
Okay. Well, I don't have a character sheet. Would you like to do that for me?
It's true. Yeah, let me just roll you a d20. I think your insight is specifically boosted. I gave you that thing somewhere. I wonder if I pinned it in our DMs.
Oh, I think you did.
Find out. Nope. But it's not too
Well-
far. Wait, no, that's who signed Palace Guard. Rifleman. Perception.
What is it? Wisdom +2?
Yeah, it's at least a +2. You should have probably more than that, like a +4 or something. I'm gonna say you got a 16. You're pretty
Oh,
confident.
no.
Yeah.
Perception is a +6. It says under skills.
Oh yeah, but this is insight. So
Fuck.
it's yeah. I'm giving you a +4, so that's a 16.
Okay.
You're pretty sure he's telling the truth. It doesn't really look like he has anything to hide that he hasn't been told to keep under wraps.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Well, Schwain, I truly appreciate you being honest with me, and I'm very glad that you were. Because I am just not always a reasonable man.
Understand. I've had some moments myself.
In fact, Schwain, I would like to make sure you understand how much I appreciate this, because I personally, as the head of this sort of treasure hunt, will be putting a good word in for you. So
Ah,
don't go disappearing on me.
thank you very much, Lieutenant Thorne. Nothing to worry about. I do still outrank you for now, but you do have jurisdiction over this. I have full confidence that you're on the case.
Yeah, I'm very glad that you were open to clear this up.
Absolutely. You need anything else from me?
Well, actually, yes.
All right.
As a changeling yourself, would you know of any other changelings present in this camp?
That's a funny question. Give me one moment. Somebody just got a little DM.
It wasn't me.
Nope.
It wasn't me.
Wasn't me.
We just gotta whittle it down. Who could it be?
It's your call, buddy.
They're asleep.
No, they're typing.
Oh.
Just waiting for the response. It's in their playing field.
They're sending you 2 paragraphs.
Would it have come up earlier? I don't know if it would have. It's not necessarily true. Because I mean, you can just be a dude and just be chilling for like a long time. So, still your call. Poor guy making him type a lot. He did?
It's Austin, guys.
Ah, okay. Okay.
I would agree if he wasn't deafened.
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna have Lieutenant Thorne roll a history check. What we're gonna do. Alright, you want me to roll history for you, Lieutenant Thorne?
Yeah.
Great. Okay. Looks like I'm 10. Fail. Here's what I'm gonna do with a 10. You've tested someone that had this blood before, but it wasn't enough to make you suspicious because it was just too far removed from the doppelganger pattern. It wasn't within your margins. But now that you've tested Shane, you remember there was someone whose blood sample you went, that's a little weird, but it doesn't have this characteristic pattern. Nah, they're not doppelganger. Then you moved on. But now you're wondering if they were a changeling, but you can't remember whose blood it was because you wrote it off.
That, and it's entirely possible that they changed faces.
That is also true. So even if you could remember with that poor history check, even if you did remember who you tested, there's no guarantee they'd be the same person. But you recall seeing a sample like this before. You didn't pick up on it before. Now you're like, wait a second. So that's what changeling blood is like. But who knows? And who knows if that's even someone in this camp? It might have just been a soldier in Coruscant. You don't know how common these changelings are.
Yeah. So Schwain is telling me basically, no, he doesn't know of anybody in the camp.
Yeah. No, he thinks about it and he says, well, not that I know of. But I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, I wouldn't be too worried about it. I don't think anyone's been causing trouble. I keep my eye out for that sort of thing. As a captain, I can assure you the men in my unit are clean. Outside of the men in my unit, anything's possible.
Absolutely, Schwain. Thank you. I understand that, if there was another individual, they would likely be just as covert as you would be. In that case, I have only one more question for you.
Yes, sir.
As to not hold you for too long here. The question is, are you able to tell just from, impressions, if somebody else is a doppelganger? Because if so, you are far more qualified for this position than me.
Doppelgangers. No, they're tough. It's already difficult to determine one of my own because, yeah, doppelgangers are the psychology's different. Changelings, sometimes I can pick up maybe from mannerisms, behaviors, speech patterns, things that don't necessarily track from person to person. Quirks, oddities of the race, shall we say. Doppelgangers, I haven't been able to find any such thing. It's uncanny. They'll just take everything a person is, boil it down to an essence, and they could be here at one point, gone in another, and you'd never know the difference.
Absolutely. Actually, that brings up another question. As a changeling yourself, when you transform into or you take upon the appearance of some other individual, do you get any of their memories or
Oh
personality?
no, that's I've heard that one before. That's a complete myth. All we are is mimickers. If you've ever run into a Kenku, they have the perfect ability to mimic any speech they hear. It's actually a curse bestowed upon them. We have that, but as a blessing. We're not constrained to mimic speech. We just have that gift. And we can also mimic appearance in many, many ways. I don't even think doppelgangers can do what you're describing.
I do, though, is the thing.
You've experienced doppelgangers that take other people's memories.
Indeed.
That's concerning. They shouldn't... I wonder. They shouldn't be born that way, not so far as I understand them. They can read thoughts, but becoming the person they mimic merely by the act of transforming and gaining memories that way, that's different. That's what you're saying, isn't it? Not just that they can read people's minds.
It is, right?
It is.
Okay, cool. You made me second guess myself for a bit there.
No, you have gone through this path, you've talked with monster experts, you've had these talks before, and there's a 0% chance that everything that the doppelgangers were doing and knowing about and mimicking was just based on reading people's thoughts. It's not possible.
Well, yeah, sure. That's exactly what I mean. These doppelgangers have been absolutely not purely pulling memory or thoughts out of the individual's heads. They've been bringing back uncanny memories that should not be known otherwise.
That's horrifying.
Indeed, and that's what makes my damn job so difficult.
Well, Lieutenant Thorne, let me know if you need any assistance. I may go to my superiors, and this is a larger threat, which it seems it is with your level of experience. Maybe we could work together in the future, or at least coordinate in making sure this camp is safe from such a threat in any means possible.
Well, that would be very helpful in my case. That is all I have for you, and I appreciate your compliance with my questioning. You're absolutely free to go.
Excellent. I'm sure we'll be in touch, Lieutenant. Take care.
You too, Schwain.
Captain Swain. But yes.
Sir.
Sir. There you go. That was productive. All right.
Well, this is good news because I'm going to do my best to remember the scent of his blood so I can tell who's a
changeling. Yep.
Changeling.
Start categorizing it. I'm sure no one else in the camp's a changeling. That'd be weird.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, it's probably
so weird.
Probably just that guy, nobody else. Oh, there's a few people whose blood I just can't wait for you to test. But they're lower ranking, so you haven't gotten to them yet. But they're going to be funny. Oh, and that one's going to be really funny. You got a few candidates coming up with these blood tests, let me tell you.
That's an insane statement.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Here's some people's blood I can't wait for you to test.
Because you guys don't know. They're so funny.
So that was
Does Top have normal blood?
That's a great question. I don't think Thorne would be able to analyze your blood. I think he'd probably prick you and it was just, I don't even know, nonsense.
Roll a D100 to find out, John.
What? He pricks you and it just sprays like a hose, and it's just like
it's just water. His blood is water.
Yeah, seawater.
Nah, Blobbletop got that the horseshoe crab blood where it's all blue.
Oh yeah, that could be possible too.
I was gonna say that, but I couldn't remember if that was real or not.
That's good. That's funny. Okay.
So, question for the DM.
Yes.
That was a captain?
That was a captain. So that's a man who's in charge of Unit Fumo.
Okay. So out of the other high-ranking officers that I've done, none of them has stood out?
Yeah, everyone you've tested all of the majors, the colonels, which are Verkham and Finch, who are annoyed, Major Vanderbaugh, who is super chill, all the other captains from Kuningreet, Pengrave, Vetus Lucius, let's see, Captain Dalton, Bertoli, Vidivici, Choi, they're all clean. They're all mostly human as well, so it's not like you've encountered anything you're not familiar with the exception of Captain Osgath, who is an Aarakocra with a white eagle head. He was a fun one. Jack Stone
What's
was
his
also
blood smell like?
His blood is weird because it doesn't smell strange, but it's thin. It was very watery blood. It congealed quickly, but it ran very quickly when you drew it. Jack Stone is the opposite. His blood was not quite like molasses, but way more viscous. I think actually no wait, Jack Stone. I can't remember if he's a Goliath or a Tabaxi. I think it might actually be oh no, he's a Tabaxi. Okay, so his blood is pretty much the same. Jack Stone's blood is very similar to humans, even though he's a Tabaxi. There wasn't really a notable difference that you could tell, especially not in the smell. It was maybe a little bit darker, but you know, it's not really anything to note. Let's see. Who else would you have tested? I actually got to look.
Dolphin.
I'm gonna sort by officers is what I'm looking at. The category officers. Yeah, Osgath, Jack, those are the interesting ones. You would have tested Raven, who you've actually been working with because while you've been training rifles, she's been training bows. She's clean. She's full elf. Dent isn't back yet. You wouldn't have tested him. You would have tested Pharos, who's a Leonin. Blood very similar to Tabaxi blood. Everything else is human. Zaniel Choi is a tiefling. His blood was a little hot, but that was about it. Gizar was the most obnoxious person to take blood from ever because he's a Gith and he kept making a big deal about something blood drawing rituals and it wasn't right and this and that and blah blah blah. And his blood was normal. It's just obnoxious to get it from him. And then the other guys you tested were humans. So all the humans were clean. The Gith, Leonin, you already got the Changeling, Tabaxi, Aarakocra. That's it. Those are all the officers that you've tested. And now you're going to start moving to, I think, probably specific units of men is going to be next. And Chwain offers for you to test his unit today. So that's easy. The only thing is, under Shane's unit is Valair. Valair is currently a war prisoner. Jarek was transferred because he's showing signs of being a storm sorcerer, so he's going to school now. But yeah. I think actually I need to specifically move him because he's not in the unit anymore. Magus. Now a student of magic. Okay. But yeah. For now, nothing else interesting is going to happen. For now. Guy. Purple. Okay. All right. Go. Okay, next up on our to-do list. What are we gonna do? Great time. Roger. How you doing, buddy?
I'm here.
Make a wisdom save.
Oh, I died. Ooh, that's not good. It's a Dix.
Great. You're having a nightmare.
Nightmare.
Out in here. All right. You want to know where you are? Roll a perception check, please. In fact, no. What's your passive perception? Because you might not need to.
21.
No, you definitely don't need to roll. You are in the walls of a very common office that you recognize, but you haven't been in a long time. You are in the office of the Grand Inspector of the Kyril Plateau, and you are sorting files. You are looking for files. There are books, there are scrolls, and at your time working in the office, you recall There were times when you were but a little secretary, or a little bit more than a secretary at this point, where you were simply handling file requests in conjunction with the auditor's office. And you have a little receipt, and on that receipt it tells you exactly where you need to go in the file library and exactly what to grab and where to grab it. In fact, we're gonna get crazy with this. So what's your Albeth or something? Some liberal loser name? Yeah, Albeth. Here you go, Albeth. It's you, Albeth. You're in the Inquisitor's office.
I mean, a liberal loser person or whatever.
Liberal loser person or whatever. You're looking for files. You cannot find files. Try as you may to read the labels for the little tag of which files you need to go grab. Every time you go to grab a file, you look back at the label and the label changes. Look back at the label and the label changes. You're running around. You can't get the files anywhere. You get from one end of the room to the other. Why does the label keep changing? What are you gonna do? How are you gonna get these files?
I give up.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. What would you like to do now that you've given up?
I don't know. Maybe like sit down for a bit.
Sit down.
My eyes
on the
must just
floor.
my eyes must just be going or something. I'm gonna take a little break.
Okay. Perfect. You take a break for a little bit, hoping that something will recover. Hoping that maybe it's just your eyes playing tricks on you. You get this looming sense of dread. This voice echoes in your head. It's the voice of Malgath Halanth, the Grand Inspector. And he says, "If you don't get me those files, I'll kill you! Kill you! Kill you!" And it echoes.
You give me I'm like rubbing my eyes and like blinking a lot.
Okay.
And after a little bit of time has passed, I'll try to get the file again.
Alright, you gotta look at your slip to see where you're actually supposed to go. Roll perception actively this time.
I could have graded these. 12.
12. Alright. You think you get an eye on what you're reading. You know what I might do, Nick? I'm gonna throw this out impromptu. What if your character canonically has dyslexia? You know how much that would explain?
What would it explain?
The terrible writing.
Have you heard about what's written in his notebook?
Yeah. Right. I'm throwing it out there. What do you think? You sure?
You could say no.
Might as
Can't say
well.
no. Okay. Character has
Those are
dyslexia.
funny.
It would be kind of funny. It adds a little bit of intrigue, you know. It makes the character more sympathetic because it makes you think back to that time where he said, "Is his neck exposed?" And it goes, "Well, it's okay. He's dyslexic."
What?
You know.
That doesn't.
Remember that time you killed like a teenage guard who was just driving a wagon?
Yeah, but it was okay.
By ripping his leg
okay
open?
because you're dyslexic.
Yeah. That's okay.
It's okay. You go to grab the file, and it finally matches up with what's written on your paper. Something tells you you should open the file.
What is this, like, heavy rain type gameplay? Yeah, sure, I'll open the file, I guess.
It's a
Not
file.
now, I gotta help her with the dishes.
It's a file. It's a file about you. It's a file about Albeth Osalindra and his alias Grodger Griff. It's a file about every adventure that you've ever been on, minus a few of them. And it catalogs your exploits, your known whereabouts, and your threat level at all times.
Well, this one's just
the
blatantly
plateau.
wrong. I didn't even. That one's still pending. Interesting. Threat
Right.
level super lethal. That's kind of crazy.
All right.
He's the most killing his kill guy. I mean,
You hear a door creak open into the library, and in steps the inspector himself.
yo,
Albeth, what are you doing? You're not allowed to read those. Those are for the auditor's eyes only.
I know what I'm looking for.
Yes, it's what let me see. And he grabs the tag from you and he says, "What you're looking for, you're not allowed to read it. Assemble and deliver.
Well,
The auditor is
I don't know.
waiting."
What if it wasn't right? What if like someone switched it out?
Malgath slams you against the wall. He says, "The only thing
Whoa,
that
this
isn't
is
right
getting a little
here,
sexual.
the only thing that isn't right here is you." He pulls out a dagger. Roll initiative.
Whoa, I didn't like you like that.
Roll initiative. Alright, let's see what I got. Alright, I rolled higher. Alright, you're getting stabbed. Well,
Okay.
I didn't roll to hit. It was bad. You're up. What do you want to do? He just lunged at you. You dodged.
I'll like disarm him, I guess, or something. Yeah,
Okay.
just like punch his arm real hard.
Okay. Alright, what do you want to roll for that?
I'll just like roll an unarmed strike.
Okay.
And
Let's see if I can. Well, I was going to contest it, but I rolled a 3. You slap the dagger out of his hand. He's enraged.
okay.
You gonna do anything else?
I mean, what do I have anything else?
I don't know. What do you have?
Oh, we're going like that. All right, take out my gun.
you pull out. All right, here's what's gonna happen. You're gonna have to make another wisdom save. If you succeed, I'm gonna make the DC pretty high because pulling out a gun. I will let you pull out a gun, the gun that shot at you from the bandage man. If you make a wisdom save of 18 or higher.
Well, I got a 16, so
That sucks. All right, you go to reach for a gun. Not fully knowing how to use it, but knowing it's a deadly weapon, and find that you are empty-handed. Instead, behind you, or not behind you, but behind Malgath, is in fact the bandage man. Through your mind going to the gun, boom! The bandage man fires at Malgath, killing him. He's shot in the head, the blood splatters over your face. The bandage man points his gun at you. Now what are you gonna do?
I just gotta live in this file, man. I'm confused on what's going on. He tried to kill me. That was weird. You're trying to kill me. That's weird.
Roll persuasion.
17.
17. Alright. The bandaged man lowers his gun. He seemingly fades into the darkness. Not before long that you're grabbed.
I gotta get a new
You're
job.
grabbed from behind the wall of files as arms
This
of
file
gummed
room is
horrors
scary.
reach out to grab you. Make an acrobatics or athletics check. You're being grappled by arms reaching out from bookshelves.
That's fine.
You can choose to fail this.
11.
That's true. I think no, you actually tied. Reroll. Or no, what's your strength mod?
1.
You fail. You are grappled in the wall and you're being clawed and crushed to death and are taking bludgeoning damage.
Freaking sucks.
Yes. You are damaged as your chest is crushed as the arms pull you into the shelf and you feel a rib crack. You take 2 bludgeoning damage and you wake up.
Is my ribs good? My like bruised?
You lost 2 hit points.
That's crazy.
Are you? The mental ill tent. There's the mental. Alright. Yeah, you lost 2 hit points. You wake up with a start. Bam.
Man, I gotta. That was freaking weird.
You alright, man? Yeah, she's not here anymore. Just you and Damien in the mental illness tent. And he goes, "You good?"
Yeah, it's just a weird dream, you know.
You
People
slept
from
really,
my past
you slept
trying to kill
really-
me.
What? That's weird. I had a
Sounds the
guy-
biggest kill guy.
I had a guy from my past who wanted to kill me, but I killed him first.
Interesting idea. Well, I should do that.
It works pretty good, but the problem that I had was that once that guy was dead and he wanted to kill me, somebody else wanted to kill me because I killed him. And so that's it kept happening. I had to leave.
Oh, start killing. That's the only. I guess just gotta start at the top.
I guess so, yeah. Alright, Evan immediately walks in and goes, say something about killing?
Yeah, I'm the biggest kill guy out there. You know, I said that in a file in my dream. It's like a piece of paper.
You had a dream.
Yeah,
Mind telling me about that, Roger?
I was like working a job. I was getting a file or something, and then boss tried to kill me. It was kind of crazy.
Interesting. Do you think this is, ask this, do you feel stressed right now? Any level of stress at all?
I mean, no, not right now.
But in the dream you did.
I was just more confused. Like it all felt familiar, but not. And I was just lost the entire time.
Interesting.
And then I started getting, he tried to kill me, and then I was like, oh, it was crazy.
Now, some people believe dreams have deeper meanings. Are you one of those people?
What does a dream mean if your boss tries to kill you? No, not really.
Okay. Well, if it keeps happening or you start feeling weird or usually stressed, just let me know, alright?
Okay.
How you doing, Damien? Yeah, it's good. That's all? Yeah. You have any dreams? No. Okay. Great talk, Damien. Okay. Then he walks out of the tent. Alright. Well, you're awake now. You want to do anything?
Gonna go for a walk.
Go for a walk anywhere in particular?
Not very far from the camp. Probably just
Okay.
camp perimeter.
Yeah. Oh, so like you don't want to go outside of the gray barrier, basically.
Probably.
Because it's basically like a dark gray fog that you can't see directly out of. So.
Definitely don't want to do that then. That might be scary.
Yeah. All right. Walking around the perimeter, which is pretty much the whole camp. Nice. All right. Cool. I think next up is a funny teleport thing. Only other thing that we can do, or it's pretty much time to jump ahead to the elves. Looking at our little list, I could go through some more of Ossian's blood tests because I imagine he can do a lot of people in one day. So he's probably going to be like done by the end of today. Because they only take what, like, we'll say like 3 minutes a person, which then let's say that I can comfortably get 15 people in an hour, and then I do that for 8 hours. That's like a day of work. So he can definitely easily do it in 2 days without being super disruptive to people's schedules. In which case, all logistics.
I don't know. I
Mhm.
feel like 3 minutes a human, probably a little longer for non-human.
It's fine. Either way, with the math, you have literally plenty of time in 2 8-hour days to hit everyone in the camp. Even if it was like
Gotcha.
5 minutes every, because I just calculated, you can hit 360 people at 15 people in an hour. And you can easily do 10 people in an hour over like actually no, it wasn't 15 people an hour. What was it? 60 divided by 3. Like 20 people in an hour. So even if we dialed it back to 15 an hour times 8 hours times 2 days, you're mostly through everyone in the camp in 2 days. And I think we'll be fine. In which case, I could stretch it out to 3 days. We'll do a few more blood tests. I'll show you some of the more interesting ones. And then we'll go from there. Okay. Then I gotta get updates from Steward. I need to roll for him. See how his magic production is going. This is an important role. Steward is... That is excellent. Steward is not only on schedule, Steward is ahead of schedule. He has all the materials that he needs, knowing now that he's going to be making something that's going to be not generic, but specific to a location, and it's going to use it as a focus. Very simple. It's still a little expensive in terms of time and material costs, but nothing crazy expensive. He doesn't need to use any of his fancy gems. All he's going to be doing is enchanting over that long period of time and making sure that everything that would be a contingency in the spell is planned for by the item to make it as easy to use as possible. He actually thinks he can have a working prototype, not a finished product that's safe to use, but a prototype by the end of today. So it's going well. This is the part where everyone claps for Stuart because he rolled a natural 20. You're welcome. Thank you.
Yay!
Thank you. All right. Now, well, that's good. I actually have the soundboard on. I should not reveal that information. I'm going to turn the soundboard off now. Soundboard is now off. I cannot be used. I was not fast enough. I lied. I was hoping that I could do reverse psychology. And then I realized it wouldn't matter.
You're in the wrong crowd for that, man.
Yeah. Okay. Soundboard's actually off now. Thank goodness. That's funny. What a fool you are.
I was muted, but that fart noise got me so bad.
How's Floppletup doing?
I don't know.
What have you been up to? You gotta be doing something.
He doesn't have anything to do.
You definitely have stuff to do. At the very
What's he
least,
got to do?
you can keep an eye on Roger. You can be healing. You can be teaching Zephyr stuff. Don't you know stuff Zephyr doesn't?
But like what?
I don't know. I gotta pull up your character sheet. Let's find it out.
None of his spells are teachable. He doesn't know how he does them.
It depends.
They just happen.
Depends. You might be able to figure it out. Let's see. What do you have?
I'll teach him this one.
What, Mega Fish Kill? Yeah.
Oh, that was a really low Mega Fish Kill damage roll.
Hey, it wasn't even Mega. What do you know? Uncle bit. I guess, too, as a cleric, technically you can't really teach him anything because he has just the whole cleric spell list. He's got a sorcerer component to him. I don't think he can help with that. I don't think that'll help. Actually, speaking of which, should Zephyr be going to the school?
He'll take some classes, but he's a man of the cloth.
Yeah. Fair. Okay. Bloppletup, I need you to
Right.
roll a medicine check.
17.
Okay, cool. I'm permanently increasing your medicine check by 1 because you've been studying with Evan Higgins, who's teaching you how to stabilize people. Let's see, skill override 5. Oh, something else I wanted to do. I'm just gonna start with that for now. You gotta be doing something. You try to stabilize dank companion, diagnose an illness. You want to roll again? You get an 18 or higher. I'll slap another one on the medicine check.
15.
All right, no. Take the plus 1 for now. Your medicine is now +5. It's actually pretty good. All right. Cool. I want to talk, but I want to eat pretzels more. Got really hungry all of a sudden. I think next up, unless anyone has anything else, Steward's wrapping up. We won't have an update until a little bit later. I think next up will be the blood tests again. These are gonna be fun. All right. I'm gonna get this one out of the way. Brandon, I don't think I need to tell you what's going on here.
Kill him.
Well, you gotta test him first.
Morbius.
No, not Mitchell Morbius.
Yeah. Let's spell out the whole name, so everybody knows what exactly has been done.
Hey, this character was made some years ago.
As
Okay,
a joke, and now there are
It's okay.
consequences.
It's okay. There's no joke characters,
There's
right?
no joke characters.
Never
There's
has
none.
been.
We take that
I
game
want.
very seriously. So anyway, Mitchell Morbius comes up for a blood test from Unit Winifred. Thorn, you prick him, and there's no blood. No blood flows. None.
What race is this guy?
He looks like a human, but he's very, very pale. He's got long black hair and a short black beard. He's a little gaunt, but there's some muscle on him.
Oh my god, does he look like a famous actor?
No.
Perhaps a dude named
No.
Jared?
No. But hypothetically, I'm just gonna pull up an image of some guy. Hypothetically, if he were to look like someone, I'm just gonna pull up this AI generated image that isn't a real person. He would look like this guy.
God damn it.
Oh, the pipeline's finished, huh?
Yeah, got it done. Going real great.
As I poke him and I notice that there's no blood, I'm just gonna like slowly look up at his eyes and give him like a, all right, bro, look. What rank is he?
Private.
All right, Private Morbius. Am I saying that right? Morbius.
Morbius.
Sorry, Morbius. This kind of throws a wrench in my tactics here.
I'm gonna have to kill you.
You just straight up. I just want to make sure we're entirely transparent with each other. You have no blood.
Well, I have some blood. It just might not all be available right now. I've been very.
Now, what the fuck does that mean, huh?
I've been very hungry, Lieutenant Thorne. I'm a
You didn't schedule an
hungry,
appointment.
hungry boy. I don't have much blood to spare.
Do I know what a vampire is?
Yeah.
Okay. You're gonna have to spare a little bit, or else there may be more severe repercussions. I will put in a word afterwards so that you can be properly sated.
Nobody's even noticed. It's fine.
Nobody's even noticed.
Yeah.
You stand out like a fucking cow in the ocean, sir.
No. Ask anyone in my unit. They don't even know. I've kept a secret. Big secret.
Private Morbius, you're an elephant among mice.
That's
You
your opinion, Lieutenant Thorne.
you look like a starving African child did whiteface, okay? Look,
That's certainly something that is going to be recorded. That's one of the things Brendan has said of all time.
I am asking for 4 drops of blood. That is it. Now, I do have authority to call what is it, about 20 guards in here with
No.
just a raise of my voice.
You're
So
not a problem, but my blood is expensive. Why should I give it up for free? Especially if I'm already running low.
Morbiles, you understand that you are in a military. You are in service. Your blood is not yours.
But it's in my body.
I can take it out of your body, or you can give me your blood.
Technically, it's not my blood anyway. It's other people's blood. Becomes my blood.
I raise my gun.
He raises his hand. I'm not even a blood vampire. I'm not even a real vampire. I'm a Dhampir. It's like a half vampire. It doesn't even count.
3 drops.
Can I give you spine fluid instead?
No.
Alright. He attempts to sleight of hand, raises his arms down like he's gonna roll up his sleeve. He's reaching for a knife.
I shoot because I still have my gun at the ready.
Would you like
You
me to
shoot
roll
this
for
guy?
you?
I can roll on 3D.
You could. Roll a
Actually, I
D20
have
add the
Tom
mods.
Sable up. I'll roll the D20 on Tom Sable and then. Oh boy, you should have rolled for me. That was a 7.
Well, it's not gonna hit. It's gonna go clear of somewhere and draw a bunch of attention.
How
Roll
about that?
initiative.
Does that count as intimidation?
No. Well, maybe. Roll initiative.
Where's this happening?
In the middle of the camp.
A 9.
Outside the barrier. You actually beat him. I kid you not.
Thank
Morbius
God.
is shocked by the sound of the gun, fired so close. He falls onto the ground, prone, and tries to pick himself up and scramble away, but he doesn't get anywhere before it's your turn. He's on the ground.
You understand, it'd be so much easier for you were you to just
You are still in combat. You know that, right?
follow directions. Yeah, but that was like under 6 seconds. Because I'm reloading and shooting again.
Well, okay. You can do that, but only after I run 30 feet straight north. You can opportunity attack with the bayonet.
Okay, well I missed the shot, so let me hit him with the bayonet.
Okay.
I probably missed that too. It was a 9.
That is a miss.
Bro, this guy sucks.
Dude, I have not rolled above a 10.
He runs 60 feet. Now, you shot this round. You'd already shot before, which means he's going again. And he's going straight for the fields. Boom. He's almost at the other end of the fields. What do you want to do?
I'm gonna scream, kill more bios!
Okay. Alerted by the gunshots, the camp is sent not quite into a frenzy, but relatively disordered outing of disgruntled peoples. Captain Swain emerges from his tent and says, Lieutenant Thorne, is that a doppelganger?
Yeah!
roll deception.
What? You're gonna make me roll deception? This
You
dude's
lied.
in a combat.
You lied.
You paused for like 3 full seconds before
Yeah.
saying yeah.
I rolled a 5, dude! Oh my god.
He goes up to you and says, Lieutenant Thorne, are you lying to me? I know a liar when I hear one. What is he?
Listen, you fuck! He's dangerous, he needs to die! Now!
What is
I'm gonna
he?
reload and try and fire again. I don't fucking know! Kill him!
He's already gone. He's in the field.
Well, shit. I would have shot again.
Swain holds you back. And his executive decision. He says, Men, hold. The men in his unity holds back. The other men he's holding back. Malik comes out of his tent. This is like mid-afternoon, so I don't know who's here. Vesper's probably around if you're interested. Malik comes out.
Who held me back?
Swain held you back.
Swain held me back?
Yeah.
He does outrage
Fucking grab him by the collar. I don't give a shit if he outranks me.
you.
All right. Vesper and Malik. Are you here, Vesper?
I'm here.
You're pulling out?
What's going on?
All right. A crowd forms. Just Vesper, Malik, the generals. Malik is going to run up and try to break them up. Vesper, what are you doing?
What I've picked up that he was trying to shoot somebody fleeing into the fields.
What's your passive perception?
Like 30.
It's 20.
It was higher, wasn't it?
Actually,
Originally, yeah. I swapped out a feat.
Hmm.
It started at 25.
guess what? Your magic barrier prevents sound from traveling through it.
Uh,
Don't sing into it. The only people who are aware are on this side, which, where is Swain? Because he would be here with his men. This is where his men are actually stationed. Malik would be in his tent. No, you guys wouldn't even hear. You wouldn't even know. Now, granted, what would happen is Swain is going to delegate one of the other men to go get him, in which case it's just going to be Nestor, which is terrible because he has like a speech impediment. He's going to go up to Malik and Vesper and go, "Sirs, generals, something outside, Chase." And he's just pointing erratically.
Follow him.
Malik is immediately going to go out. At this point, Thorn and Swain are probably brawling. Are you like punching him?
No. I'm grabbing his fucking collar and yelling at him
Okay.
that fucking dude is dangerous.
Alright. Captain Swain says, "That may be the case, but he just wandered in those fields, which is the death sentence. Vitra specifically told us not to go in them. We cannot go through those fields." Alright. Let me finish eating my pretzels before my
Listen.
yells at you. Hold on. Peanut butter pretzels are really hard to eat, guys. You're stuck in your mouth.
What an unprofessional DM.
You need
Come on.
Brennan Lee Mulligan's back mouth.
What?
What?
He went on a whole rant saying that he's a big snacker, and the problem is that the words have to come out of the hole that the food goes in, so he needs a mouth on his back so someone can shovel salami directly into him while he's DMing.
You're so right for that. Anyway, Malik finishes chewing his nuts or whatever. And as soon as that happens, he comes up and he separates them. Like peanuts. Like salted nuts.
No, let him cook, actually.
I didn't even think of it that way until everyone else laughed. I'm losing my touch.
Brendan, I'm not going to say that you're the problem child.
I didn't say anything.
I didn't say it either, because I'm not going to say it. So anyway, Malik comes up. He separates Thorn and Swain with a strength check. He rolls a 22.
I counter him.
Okay, go ahead. Roll athletics.
Oh, fuck.
Gotta beat a 22.
Can I just not?
Yeah, you can just lose.
Okay.
He throws
Yeah,
you
I'm
off.
fine with
He
that.
throws off Shane. Malik immediately yells, "What is going on here?"
What was the guy's name? Oh, fuck.
Mr.
Fucking
Morbios?
Morbios. Look, Private Morbios came in here to complete his wellness check. I do the finger quotes because I'm funny.
Of course.
And obviously it was clear that the private was he called himself a Dhampir.
That's a half vampire.
Yes, sir.
Why didn't you just say that? You said he was a doppelganger. You lied to your commanding officer.
You stupid fuck. Would you... Dumbass, I tried to get your ass to follow him. That's the point. You're
And I
supposed to
told
kill
you
the fucking...
we cannot follow him into the fields. Vitras forbid that we set foot in them. He goes,
So you stop his ass from going in there.
I didn't see what happens. I understand both points, but first of all, Lieutenant Thorne, you have no right to speak to your commanding officer like that. First of all, Captain, if we don't already, I want perimeters around those fields. If we can't go in, then we can certainly circle them. I want him taken alive and questioned further. Lieutenant Thorne, you're off the case for now. Take a break. Swain,
Sir,
tell all
he
the
may
other
not
captains.
be
Lieutenant
able to
Thorne,
go in there, but
you
his
do
ass
not
sure as
have
hell can
permission
come
to
out
speak.
of there.
You speak when you have permission to do so. Am I clear? You have permission to answer me.
Yes, Lord Malik.
Good.
And I step back and fucking bow to him because he's a demon god.
Okay. He's already communicated. Swain's coordinating with the other captains. They're going to set up a perimeter. Leek's going to stay back and talk to you. Say, what in the world happened? What was that?
That Dhampir of yours
Dhampir of mine.
I believe so, sir. Aren't you the commanding officer of the entire army here?
Yes, but Mitchell Morbios is not my man. He reports directly to Unit Winifred, whose commanding captain should be... Looks it up. Argyle Becker. Morbios
And
is
then
Becker's man, not mine personally.
Understood, and I assume Becker does not report to you in that case. Well, irrelevant, sir. That Morbios is... he came to me, and he was very persistent in not allowing me to get any of his blood. I poked him, sir, and he literally, by will, stopped the blood from flowing out of his body.
Interesting. What happened then?
I questioned him, as it's, pretty obvious that he is some sort of undead at that point, when the blood does not flow, and he told me that the blood was not his to give. And eventually, when I pushed him to further give up a small sum of his blood, he reached for a knife, and that is when I opened fire.
I see. Were there any witnesses to this?
Surely there's at least like one grunt in the room, right?
Well, you're outside, but I can almost guarantee you that there was someone from Winifred who was in line after Morbios. The only question is who. I'm going to say it's our favorite characters, Percy and Kersey.
Oh.
The brothers. Who said, "We witnessed it, sir. He was reaching for something." Yeah, could have been a knife. I didn't see. It happened pretty quickly, but he was pretty confrontational. Yeah, confrontational. Interesting. Well, Lieutenant Thorne, it seems you're all right for now, but I will have you reprimanded for the way you handled your confrontation with Captain Swain. Not appropriate or becoming of a lieutenant. I know how they do things in Coruscant, but that's not going to fly here. In terms of the manhunt, I'll ensure that it gets done.
I understand. And for future reference, would you please educate this unprofessional servant of yours on what the proper way to address an individual or a higher ranking officer defending an individual who charged at you with a knife would be?
What?
Did Swain witness this charge?
No, but after I told him he was a doppelganger, as to eliminate the need for second guessing as to who the enemy is, he did not believe me, and
Why did you tell him he was a doppelganger? He's clearly a Dhampir. You lied to a commanding officer.
and telling that telling him that he was a Dhampir would get across the immediate and absolute need to stop this individual?
No, it would communicate the truth, which is far more important than whatever you think is needed. If the commanding officer asks you a question, you answer honestly. Those are the rules. If you fail to respect those, the hierarchy falls apart. You're not a loose cannon, Lieutenant Thorne.
Sir,
You report to our hierarchy. If a commanding officer asks you something, you lie, and he calls you out on it, then it's your fault for not getting the result you intended.
with all due respect, if I were to tell, what's his name?
Schwain. Captain Schwain.
Schwain, sir, with all due respect, if I were to tell Schwain that this individual was a Dhampir, he would look at me like I had no head. All right. He would want to know more information. There is no time to give this man more information when the Dhampir is escaping into said field.
I think you just need to work on your communication skills, Lieutenant Thorne. Effective communication. There's a Dhampir. He pulled the knife on me. Get him.
You're absolutely right. That is my bad. I should have written a letter beforehand.
Well, if that's what it takes to be a good soldier, then write your letters. Malik walks away.
I'm going to start drafting a letter to him.
All right. Well,
Dhampirs are not something we're looking for here. They're perfectly allowed within this army.
Precisely my point.
You were going to wrongly prosecute a man for being a doppelganger.
A Dhampir is perfectly allowed here. A Dhampir who assaults an officer is not allowed here. Just
Correct.
as a doppelganger is not allowed here. True?
If he were a doppelganger, that would mean we have had a intelligence issue and could potentially have had a leak for weeks now. If he's a Dhampir that's assaulting you, that's an entirely different problem.
All right, well, we've got a lot of work to do, so me and Kersey are gonna head out. Yeah.
I'm going to fly over the field and see if I can spot him anywhere.
Okay, roll perception.
All right.
3.
It was a 3 for a 13.
Wow, that's terrible. If you see him, well, you can see the massive trail he's leading, and it's quite a trail, and it's not incredibly difficult to follow. And in fact, it looks like there's a couple of men gathered around. As you fly down, you see a few men standing on the outskirts of the field, not wanting to walk into it. And you see a splattering of blood within the field, next to which is one of Vitrus's robots, who has bludgeoned Morbios into a fine pulp and is currently escorting the carcass out of the field.
Whose robot?
Vitrus's.
Easy.
Hey.
We got him, boys.
Yes, he's been bludgeoned. So he's dead.
Okay. Kill him again.
One of the men that's sitting in the field, the shield guardian looks at while he's walking Morbius out, throws up, and goes, and then they just wreck.
You said there was blood?
Oh yeah, lots of blood.
Wasn't he a little bit low?
Go
It
investigate.
was kind of low, and that shield guardian milked every liter out of him.
Wrung him out like a wet sponge.
Uh-huh. a damp sponge, but yeah.
I would advise against trying to investigate the blood.
All right. Well, this is going to be fun, because guess what happens next? Malachi, mid-afternoon, would you be in the house or in the camp?
Mid-afternoon, probably in the camp.
Okay.
I think I
Well,
would be probably around there.
this is good.
Maybe where the furs were.
All right. Buckle up. Your private sanctum goes down. The
And I'm
wall.
aware,
Huh?
I'm aware of this.
Probably. Maybe. Are you inside or outside? That's the question.
I'm in it.
Probably what?
Yeah, I'm in it.
No, are you inside a tent or are you outside in the open air where you could see the wall disintegrate?
I'll say I'm out.
Okay. In which case, you see the wall go down, and stumbling into the camp, well, not even stumbling, on his carapace is Vitrus, who in a loud, booming voice says, Malachi de Lumiere! Where is Malachi? He's approaching. Many of the men are bewildered, stepping back.
Your
I just-
headphone gets like 20 messages.
I just like rub my temples.
Okay. I say, are you aware of what's just begun in my fields, my beautiful fields?
No, I'm sorry, I'm unaware what happened.
They have been trounced upon by
Have they-
one of your
have-
men who's
have they been trounced
run amok, trampled
Yes.
upon, absolutely destroyed. In this horrible
Absolutely.
situation, of course, my field guardian steps in to stop the trespasser. We agreed you would not touch the fields, and this man has violated that agreement. He's a
Yes,
paste on the
absolutely.
floor. He's a prisoner, and I can't believe. Ugh,
Vitrus.
I'm out of breath.
Vitrus.
Yes, yes,
Vitrus.
yes. Ugh.
I use a mage hand and just kind of like massage his shoulders.
Ew. Don't touch 'em.
Okay. Oh,
He moans gently.
Stop that. He can't reach the area on his shoulder with his hand. He goes, stop that.
Vitrus.
Don't-
Friend, listen.
Ugh.
I feel just, perhaps even worse, about this situation than you do.
Do you, Malachi?
I do, because I did not expect or intend for any of our men to betray you in such a way.
It is a betrayal of the highest order. I
It
could
is
have baked
absolutely-
at least 4 loaves of bread with that wheat.
Absolutely, you can. But you know, even in the midst of this, I can't help but think, boy, the genius of Vitrus, how powerful his creations are.
Now
to be able
is not the time for flattering, Mr. Dillumier.
I am not flattering. I am actually quite
obviously.
impressed with your. I'm quite impressed with your security system. You see, my darling wife might be able to help with the recovery of the crops, and I will
I
ask her.
certainly hope so. It's no small cost,
Richard,
4
Richard.
loaves of bread.
Buddy, Vitrus, please. I would have hoped that after all this time, we've gained more trust than this.
Well, I'm not sure. All of a
Vitrus.
sudden, my field and trounced and trampled, and it's all going amok. It's all
Didn't
going
you-
awry.
We've been here for quite some time. You've sent us on dangerous missions, and we've accomplished everything. Every promise we've kept up until this point, and this was one isolated incident. Vitrus, a partnership, which is what I assumed we had. I believe it is the kind in which you can just speak to me calmly, rationally, and things can get dealt with. Do you not agree?
Oh, I agree. I agree very much.
Very well.
It is just difficult to be calm in the midst of such a travesty. So unexpected and bloody and oh, the spectacle. I've got to dispose of the body and its
No. Leave that to us. We will take care of it. And your crops, we will take care of it. Now, I do need to return the securities to this just quickly. There are beings out there who would wish to not only spy but attack, and it is our intention to keep all of us safe. We'd rather not have a
Certainly
war.
hope so. The last thing I'd want is a war breaking out on my own
Exactly.
background.
Right. Beautiful. So, Beatrice, you know what? I will talk to one of our cooks and see if they can help whip up something bread based. Yes? Yes?
Yes, if we could have
Yes.
cake is
Oh, yeah. No. What else would you like?
like pastries, but I'm not very good at making them.
Oh, I will talk to our cook and we'll have something sent over to you. Just let us deal with it. I assure you that this is not the way that I want the camp to be run. But you know this. In every batch of wheat, there is always something that is
There is chaff,
Um,
Malachi. You must separate the wheat from the chaff because you can't bake bread from the chaff.
you cannot. And this was just one moment where, thanks to you, we were able to separate the wheat from the chaff. So thank you for aiding me in this.
Roll persuasion.
Okay.
Mr. 22 charisma.
Huh?
Said Mr. 22 charisma.
We don't know about that. All right. Malachi, where are you? Okay, here we go. 20.
Dirty 20?
Yeah.
What do you have to your persuasion roll? What's your modifier?
9.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Alright.
It said, well, very well. I just hope that such a thing would not happen again. It's very messy, or at the very least, they can be cleaned up properly. I don't prone to frights. You see, I had a very troublesome time before I came into this very peaceful land, and now things are being thrown up and about, and it's just a lot to deal with.
And I do completely agree with you. And if anything, I hope even more than you do that this will not occur again. And I'll be talking to the relevant people as soon as possible. Do not worry yourself. Again, I will talk to one of our cooks, see what we can come up with for you. We'll have it delivered, and I'll take care of everything.
Thank you, Malachi. I'm sorry about your private sanctum. I didn't know.
Don't even think about it. Don't worry. And again, those automatons, so powerful. Yes. Yes.
I'm going back inside.
They are fantastic. Yes. Okay. All right. I'm going to resume.
That guy.
I'm going to resume, recast the private sanctum. I'm doing that as a way of calming,
Osnick's already on it as well. I'm sure.
as a way of just calming myself.
Yep.
I'm partially chanting the words, but I'm also
Yep.
deep breath. And then I'm immediately going to
Malik
go
is waiting to talk to you once you're done.
I see him waiting to talk to me, and I just put my hand up not now.
All right, he walks back to his tent.
And I where's the cook?
They're all in the central. Grumble, Petrus, Liz, and Kyle.
He is. They are at once the most important people I need to talk to. And I go look for them. Listen, I know supplies are limited, and perhaps you talk to one of the wizards. Perhaps they can help. But I need you to cook something, create something bread based. Can you say it with me? Bread based.
Bread based, Mr. Gloomy. Yeah, bread based.
Yes, perfect. And I need it to be. Honestly, if I could inspire you, I would. But this is the most
I'm already
inspiring.
inspired by your leadership, Mr. Glumia. Pleasure serving with you again. You do know that Grumble and Petrus are two former servants of your household.
I
Mm-hmm.
Liam
No.
was probably very young.
I just-
Petrus is one of your most reliable guys.
I nod solemnly.
100%.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I need this to go well for Vitrus. He has done so much for us. And I know I can entrust you with this task.
Absolutely, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Good man. All of you. Excellent work. Now I believe I have to go talk to my brother. And yes. All right, carry on.
Highest
And then
blessings to you, Mr. Lumiere.
And may Bahamut shine on you.
Alright. Where's Vesper?
I'm just gonna go into the tent. Malik.
Vesper in the tent or no?
Would I've gotten back from flying around?
Oh yeah. After the murder scene, yeah.
Then I don't know. Yeah, probably if not in it, then near it.
Yeah, okay.
One of you start talking.
Alright. So as far as I understand the situation, Thorn is performing his standard blood tests.
Mhm.
I got testimony from Swain, who came in later, Percy and Kirsty Jackson from Winifred, who were waiting in line. Morbius was agitated, a little fidgety, not per se confrontational. Thorn pressed him. He was uncomfortable. Pricked his blood. Morbius allegedly willingly withheld it as a Dhampir. Started talking about how it's not his blood to give, something along those lines. The situation escalated. Thorn threatened him. Morbius put his hands up and then went to reach for a knife. Percy and Kirsty both confirmed that. It's Thorn's testimony. Afterwards, he took off. Shot was fired, which we didn't hear because we were within the sanctum. Sergeant Key came in, muttering about something. Vesper and I went out. Vesper flew up to take a look at where he'd gone. He'd ran into one of the fields, which we're obviously not allowed to go into. When I arrived, he was wrestling with Swain, had him by his collar, yelling about how he didn't move quickly enough to chase. Apparently, Swain was the first commanding officer to question Lieutenant Thorne on what exactly had transpired right before Private Morbius went into the field. The statement was, or the question rather was that Swain posed exactly was, is he a doppelganger? To which the lieutenant lied, yes. Or I think it was something, what is he? A doppelganger, and that was a lie. Essentially, Lieutenant Thorne lied in an attempt to get them to begin a manhunt faster, but Swain pressed him because he knew that he was lying. He has an eye and an ear for those things. At which point the confrontation started. Swain had already gotten men on the case at some point, but as it devolved into conflict, only a few men actually went out to scout. By the time our first two men found the body, which should have been two privates, Julian and something else, he was already dead.
Malik,
Yes.
I think we've got quite enough.
Ask what happened. I just told you what happened.
Yes, listen. How is this being dealt with?
Well, Morbius is dead, so we don't need to do anything about that. A court-martial is not off of the table for Lieutenant Thorne. He lied to commanding officer.
What did Morbius bring to our... Not that I see people as mere tools, but what did he bring? What was his area of expertise, his skill?
As far as Becca says, stealth. What was on his rap sheet? He's a rogue. He gets in and out of places, not easily seen. Sneaky, deadly assassin type. Not particularly. No, not particularly. That's the thing.
All right, then we've just trimmed some fat. In the meantime, this other one, remind me his name.
Lieutenant Thorne.
Yes, how is he being reprimanded?
That's exactly what I've got to determine. Swain isn't happy with him. Again, he lied to him. He didn't technically do...
Question. He was conducting these experiments, this testing.
Yes.
Was he accompanied? Who else was... Have the mind readers been assisting with this at all?
No, this has been a separate test. This is post-interrogation protocol.
All right. I think
Well, going forward, we're definitely going to station someone with him at all times while he's conducting these tests. We're conducting them in a generally public area, but we need someone actively paying attention and watching now. I was thinking.
You said he had a firearm?
Yes, Thorn is the one training our men on the firearms. That's the other issue.
Are there any others who have been trained to proficiency yet?
Gregor is a separate lieutenant that's worked with Thorn. He's equally competent in use of the rifle.
All right, then
I take offense to that.
we take. Thorn will get his weapon back when he knows how to be.
I could have him expelled for assaulting a commanding officer. I just don't think that would be productive.
I don't think so either, but I think we take the offending weapon until he's shown that he can. It's simple, really. We do not have time for this. And Vitris, being frustrated and removing some of our magical defenses is not acceptable.
Yeah, that's an issue.
The chances of someone attacking us at any moment, we can't risk this. Especially not for someone with a behavioral issue.
Right. From this point on, all these blood tests are going to be conducted within the sanctuary, directly in the center, if not in the mess hall, with at least 4 men stationed.
Yes, truly, it should not have been outside to begin with, but that is fine. That is fine. We learn, we live, we grow. There is too much, for us to waste time on this. By the way, have you heard from Danuk? Anything, any updates?
No, he's been reading, that's all he says.
Fantastic. All right. Now I need to see about getting into a magical archive. All right. I trust you two can carry on with this. I will talk to my wife, see how we can repair the props, or any one of the druids, really. If you, one of you can just send them along and, I don't know, just be extra bountiful. Give him double as many crops as he had before if we can.
Right.
And then Malachi just leaves.
Yeah. Well, that happened. No more Morbios. Can remove him from the roster.
We
wanted
are,
him dead.
Yeah.
we are still going to have a ceremony for him, though.
Okay.
It's going to be the entire next session.
No. It's going to be a one-line thing where I say, we bury him.
We bury him.
And I pray the blessing of...
We're going to have a real funeral in real life that I've already booked.
Did you get a good plot of land at least?
I'm going to be so confused when I put a piece of paper in the coffin.
Am I going to learn help with the teleportation thing?
I mean, you can help. I don't really know if you can help.
All right. Well,
He's got to get his item done. All queued up.
yeah. Well, something else I would like to do is I would like to do clairvoyance really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to attempt to see if I can look for the Moon Lord.
Wow. Bold. All right.
And you're saying that at this point, the thing is back up, right?
Yeah. 5 seconds back up.
Okay.
In range in a location. Okay, so what location are you picking?
Oh, it requires a familiar location to me? Okay.
Create an
Then
invisible sensor within range. A location that is familiar. Might be range 1 mile.
how about rather than that, I'm just going to look like a mile out from where we are,
Okay.
just to see if I can see any approaching. Like I'm kind of scanning for the elves, the approaching party of people.
It's all clear. A few big ravens in the sky. That's about it.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, if that's all, then I guess I'll just go back to where the other casters are learning.
Okay. Back to the school. Resurrected from the dirt. Oh, you can visit FS. He's probably in class. Right?
Yes, my young friend.
Okay. Alright, what is next? Irrigations. I don't think we've had any problems.
Oh,
Exception?
you know what I didn't do
Hmm.
that I would want to do. I want to take some time, see if I can hear from Michael or something to confirm what Danuk was saying, because like we just all took it by face value. I want to
Okay.
confirm if like this is actually the way he's saying it,
Do you want to
and we're
talk to
not.
Michael?
Yeah,
How we starting this?
seeing if we're not like being lured into dropping this spell because of a lie.
Okay. Oh. I don't remember. Gosh, what does Michael sound like?
Malachi.
Southern.
No. Incorrect. I think it's just the Queen's English, if I recall. In which case, Malachi, what's new?
A lot.
Indeed. Quite the
Sorry.
busy man these days.
Yes. No time for pleasantries. I'm sorry. We were told of our infringement on the god Primus's rules. Is this true?
True enough. You haven't infringed on his rules yet. The Feywild is not his domain. He rarely has influence outside of Mechanus, but he's taken an increased interest in the material and Feywild planes because he sees a threat.
Fine.
And it's an accurate estimation.
And it was also revealed to me that there's some sort of partnership going on between, or at least an intersection of goals between Bahamut, praise be his name, and Primus.
Something of the sort. The gods don't exist in isolated chambers. They do occasionally parley. Bahamut and Primus were never on bad terms, but now their interests have, in fact, intersected.
And it is that
And
for which I come to you today.
yes,
The military issues, for lack of a better explanation, we mortals will try to deal with that and we'll pray for intervention. But when things begin to affect us on a supernatural level, I have to ask, what is the situation with the Moon Lord?
complicated. The issue is, maybe it's not my right to say, but I haven't been told otherwise. It's not just Bahamut and Primus. They're leading the charge, shall we say, due to the knowledge of another who has yet to reveal their hand, and I will leave that to them. I don't wish to infringe on their autonomy, but know that there has been much concern in the heavenly places due to the fact that this being seems to have acquired power outside of the normal routes via which it is given. Many eyes are upon him, even those that are typically far away and removed.
Hmm.
And as a result, more eyes are on you. Not as many on you as are on him, but given that you've interacted with him in the past, you often come up.
Beautiful. We don't need this. This is not what we need at all.
Well, there is good news.
Yes?
It's that it's not exactly something you need to worry about right now. Malachi, the greatest threat to you right now is the threat of your peace being stolen from you. It has been your greatest threat for the past 15 years when your family was uprooted. I've been trying to show you that peace. Bahamut wants you to share in it as well, but it's not my peace to give. And it's not a peace one simply stumbles upon by coincidence. And if you don't have that peace, you'll face many of the same struggles that Malik has had internally and externally. And right now, despite the fact that everything is out of your control and things do appear very bleak, it's not yet your time to worry about such things. They've been brought to your attention, and many gods make demands and attempt to get from you what benefits them. But the reality is that the time has not yet come, and that
And
is
what about,
something even Primus would agree with.
and what about when us mortals try to beseech? We could use a hand. That is all I'm saying.
Many hands have already been given.
Hmm.
It is
Well.
difficult. I understand, Malachi. What you have been put through is not what the average individual on this plane goes through. But to whom much is given, much is expected. And you have been given much, more than your brother ever has.
Yes. Understood. I'm sorry, but this feels like it was a mistake. Thank you.
There are
And
no mistakes.
I break off the.
Okay.
Yeah. And he's just gonna like sit in the corner and listen to the teaching and just kind of like relax a little that way, remembering how when he was a student, boy,
Yeah.
it's a little comforting, it's familiar.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Boy. Emotional damage. All right. I have a report for Vesper. There's one result from the interrogation that is not suspicious, but pretty much everyone else was a no. Or honesty came out, and maybe they didn't have super favorable things to say, but they're obviously not against you. This one was difficult. The interrogators had trouble reading her. She worked hard to conceal her thoughts, and she was very intentionally vague. Vanna Barome, the herbalist that is in the same tent as Bloppletup and all the other clerics. Are you working for anyone besides us? Yes, I am always loyal to my queen. Do you have any issues with our leadership? Yes. Did not elaborate.
Huh.
But she has issues with Malachi. That they were able to determine via probing. She doesn't have malicious intent towards anyone in the camp, and she's not a spy or double agent.
Fascinating.
So do with that what you will.
I think we'll just mark her down And then once we finish all of the initial round of testing, we'll bring back everyone that was slightly
Weird.
suspicious and ask them more specific questions.
Got it. Okay. Works for me. Right. Interrogations are continuing. I think Ossian's blood tests. We're over the hump at this point. Covered pretty much all the edge cases. Do a once over. Zephyr is going to be a fun one because he's Ganassi. That's going to be a weird blood test. Kobolds. Inku. Lashtar.
Wait, they're still trusting me to do the
Yeah,
blood
but
test?
they took your gun and now there's 4 men stationed around you at all times watching the test.
There should have been men stationed around me to begin with. That bastard wouldn't have left if there was.
Agreed.
Yeah.
What if you had the bravest, most strongest fighter in the camp?
He's on sick leave.
Never mind, he's on sick leave.
I
What if he just showed up anyway?
mean,
And they were roommates.
good. Could show up.
What's the deal with Morbius?
Do the people on guard have guns?
No. Bows, hand axes, long swords, cunning Greek guards.
Man, I feel like this is just a oversight.
Of what?
Safety.
You know what's crazy? Is the intention probably wasn't to get confrontational, but to just catalog the data and then report it to your superiors.
Nah.
Okay.
That's crazy.
Sure is.
The superiors would love to know that there's been a spy in their midst for
They
We're gonna start-
would love to know.
practically months,
That's what you were being charged to do. That was to
and
go.
then just not do anything about them either.
Well, because
What are you talking
it's a
about?
general health check. The goal is you do the general health check, you quietly categorize outliers, and then you report the outliers, and
then you
the
give them the
leadership deals
vaccine.
with it.
Where this is the first phase of like a whole, we got a whole like pyramid set up here. We got
Yeah.
we got to get through the mass of them as quick as possible, and then after that we start bringing in the people that are suspicious and
Yeah.
test them further.
But the goal was not to go right to confrontation, even in positive results. Because you don't want to stir and rile people up.
This is extremely useful information.
Well,
Extremely useful after the fact.
well.
We could have been clearer, but it was discussed.
He might have been asleep.
He
Slash
might have been asleep.
brain dead. Didn't think of it. Oh well. Can't do anything about it now.
I'm here for the drama. So.
Yeah, listen, it was good TV. Malachi got all emotional. It was this big thing. I got to have Vitris whine about pastry. So
I'm not upset with Brendan the player. I'm in character upset with the guy that just caused this big ruckus.
but the thing is, the way he's been playing Thorn, especially because he's an outsider that came in late to the group, that just makes sense.
That was very consistent with how Thorn
it
is
was
acting.
very
yes.
consistent with Thorn.
Pretty sure we were introduced with him fighting a doppelganger and immediately shooting it in the head with no
Yeah.
hesitation.
Yeah.
So
And he had full autonomy in that role. So I mean, yeah. Yeah.
I completely agree.
Yep.
No one will know who that's for except the person that I meant it for.
I don't. Okay.
Yeah, you're welcome.
If it was supposed to be me, I missed it.
What's going on?
I DM'd him, Trevor's a big sneaky head.
Oh, okay, got it. Yeah.
Shit!
That makes sense.
Leaking the DM.
So valid for that, though. All right. Well, now that the drama is done, now we can get to the fun part. Rolling for steward.
Oh, that's the fun part.
Yeah, because he could be done the magic item and it could be goaded.
Or he could fail, and we could have wasted all our time.
He already rolled a nat 20. It almost can't get any worse. He rolled a
Yeah.
17 plus whatever. Listen, y'all be doubting Stewart too much. He's done nothing but show up for y'all.
I doubt Stewart. Oh,
I mean, he has shown up, but he's shown up in a very creepy way.
yeah.
Yeah. And alright, anyway. Where's Malachi this evening?
Did you
Looking
say?
at him.
Is this the same day?
It would be Friday night, yeah.
All right, so he has not gone back to the barn. He's just spending time in the camp because now he's like, we need to get temperature check, see where people are.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
are people dealing with Morbius's death?
That's a good question. It's going to be most impactful for the unit that was with him, which is some of our characters. How does Detroit feel about his death?
Hypothetically,
Hypothetically.
if I was just like disassociating
Yeah.
and respawned him back when a certain name was mentioned,
You know that a man died, right?
man died.
Mitchell Morbius was killed.
Who?
Oh my god, Nick. That was so long ago.
What have you been doing?
I don't know. I'm in character now. I don't. Detroit doesn't care about this guy.
Okay, that's all I need to know. Who? He was in your unit.
Yeah, but he's the outsider. He's the scout.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
he's usually off on his own doing his own
Right,
thing, and he
well,
only comes
listen,
back. He knows
Detroit
like the
doesn't
guy
care.
above
Yeah,
him.
you think Morbius socializes?
Yeah.
Also, yeah, it was like the pasty kid. Like
Rainey isn't here.
I
to
thought
give
he-
feedback.
Oh, okay. So the guy we really should have been watching because he's
I
definitely got
I thought he got wiped out in boot camp.
he's definitely
here.
got school shooter energy. Got it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's definitely being watched like a school shooter kid.
Rainey isn't here to comment. Two other men in his unit, no opinion. How does Parts feel about Morbius? Corporal Parts, Dragon Slayer.
Do you think they met each other?
I mean, they were in the same unit. They would have met, but whether they talked or knew anything about each other, that's your call.
Basic training at least.
Yeah.
The Dragon Slayer probably just death happens.
Yeah. Siobhan was actually in Unit Winifred before the missions went out, so she would have spent possibly some time with him. What does Siobhan think?
She did she see the body like when they dragged it back in, or was she in class?
No. They were not going to show that to her. It was rough.
Okay, so
They
she's
actually
just
went.
she's just kind of like generally sad, but like she's just gonna channel that into studying a bit, so she doesn't have to think about it.
Yeah. Okay. Donald.
But it's not like, oh, I miss him. It's more of a death happened.
Yeah, very sad. All right, Donald Dent didn't like him. Thought it was weird. Argyle Becker was okay with him because he followed orders like a dog most of the time. James Johnson, indifferent. Thought he was weird. Percy and Kirsty, they weren't like a little awkward for them. They weren't close, but they had like a camaraderie. But they also knew he was weird, and they didn't know what. They just thought he was like sick or something. And now it
Everyone
makes
is
sense.
so callous about death. It's just like, oh, he was weird.
Yeah. And then we get to the fun ones. Most of the other people haven't been around long. They were reassigned to Winifred. Let's see. Goldie is a young man. I'm gonna add him. Not his real name, but Goldie William. Okay. Blonde hair. He's probably like 20 something. He reports now that he knows what the bite on his neck is. and then he just woke up with it one day and then kind of fell out of it and was with Evan Higgins for a while. Evan confirms that story. It's pretty clear now that Morbios had sucked his blood. So, that's the only confirmed case you have of that happening. But Goldie reported it. It did happen. So there you go.
Well, Malachi didn't tell anyone who was in his unit or who was close to him. If you need to take the rest of the afternoon off, I'm not saying you have to. If you don't think you're up to it, I suggest you take the time off. If not, continue as you were. We will have that. I think we'll kind of say that's when we do the ceremony a little later in the evening.
Yeah.
Just to commemorate the person he was. I don't know him very well, but the least we can do is send him off with Bahamut's blessings.
Okay. All right. Well, before you pivot to steward, update on the house and the cookery situation. Let's roll for your cooks. Jiraiya had no trouble repairing the grain. The biggest problem was the blood. Okay. This isn't great. All right.
How many cooks are cooking?
It's just Petrus and Grumble. They're not. Liz and Kyle do meats, not pastry. Grumble and Petrus.
Did I get to check the blood of this dude?
Morbios?
Yeah.
I think Vesper specifically said that was a bad idea.
Yeah.
And if he said that as a commanding officer, they're not giving you any of his blood.
He might have said that.
Oh, I never said that he couldn't have some of the blood. I was advising against wandering in the fields to try to collect.
Okay, got it. Well, then in that case, you could have
Oh
gotten.
no! My plan was to just, get the blood from his disfigured ass body.
Oh, okay. Well, that's kind of easy to do. Someone will get it to you, but you're not gonna go get it yourself. But you are given some blood.
What's it smell like?
Normal human blood, coagulated now. Coagulates unevenly in some spots. You're not surprised if this is in fact multiple blood samples from multiple people. So if this is his blood, it really wasn't his blood, literally.
I am going to keep a sample because if I can, I don't know, if somebody more educated than me can tell whose blood this is, that'd be sick.
Yeah, probably not on Mandril, but not a bad idea. I think they're there yet, technologically.
I feel like magically we could do that.
Magically, probably, yeah. Not,
exactly.
Scientifically. Okay. Where are we at? Yes. All right. Where do you want Stewart to meet you to show you his prototype?
I'll just go where he is.
All right. In which case, you go to the Sorcerer's of Mayhem Temp. We're sort of retired for a bit. He says, "Yeah,
Random question.
Yes.
What does it smell like in there?
Lilac.
It's a bunch of old dudes. Okay, cool.
Well, Osnek likes lilac, so he makes
Yeah,
it.
Yeah, he's an old guy. All right, we're moving on.
Yeah. All right. Sword says, Mr. de Lumiere, I have most excellent news.
Right. Spit it out.
I have your prototype. And he pulls out a gold circular amulet. Says, I know you requested a ring. Such a thing was simply not possible for the form factor required for such a creation. I may be able to get it smaller, but for now, this should be theoretically a working prototype. In order to test it, I have created experimental grounds via which we can see if it does in fact do what it is supposed to do. Now it can take any number of conduits which will be inserted here, because the other reason it's beneficial to have it be larger is because you can accommodate larger conduits, although of course you don't want it to be unwieldy. For now you could wear this around your neck in a chain. It wouldn't be the most quiet thing. It's a little heavy, but it's doable. You could also put it in a backpack, satchel, pocket, any number of things. As you see by this mechanism, we can simply open the latch here as a conduit is inserted, whether it's an encoded thought or an item keyed to a location. You see what I have here is a particular strand of grass which I have plucked from an area just outside of the tent. I've set up a little circle, a ring on a stumpy rock, and I've associated a link between this conduit and that exact location. If everything works as intended, the amulet will go to that location. If it does not work as intended, it will end up somewhere. This is the difficulty of testing. If this goes wrong, I have very little reason to believe that it would go wrong, but if it does, we may lose all of the work I've done so far.
Excellent.
On the other hand, if it works, then we're in very good shape.
That's exactly what I needed today. Thank you.
I'm sorry, the facts are the facts. They are not here to comfort you.
So we just need a win today. Make it so.
Well, Mr. Delumia, if you need a win, then pray to your gods, because I have done everything in my power to get this equipped for you. I don't think any more time would be of any use. I have notes on what may have gone wrong during the process that I can theorize if I need to build another, but for now, I will allow you to do the honors. And he sort of guides you outside and he says, if you'll follow me.
Yeah.
Your target destination is that rock. This is the leaf encoded to it. All I require of you is to switch this after the conduit is sealed, which you should see a small latch lock here. And he sort of locks it shut. He says, go right ahead. Now, it does require attunement, but not in the traditional sense. You simply need to be focusing on what it is that you're trying to accomplish. Additionally, the verbal component is the same, which I'm sure you have studied already, yes?
Definitely.
Excellent. In which case, please take it away. Spellcasting check.
A 14.
14? Okay. Alright. As you focus on the area to be targeted and make sure the conduit is latched, begin quietly reciting the verbal components for the teleport spell, which you've already practiced, rehearsed, and studied. With this specific iteration, you say the words flawlessly, Stuart nods, and all of a sudden, in a wispy flash of an eye, the amulet teleports straight from your hand onto the stone, and it rocks gently back and forth as the semicircular amulet lands on this. Stuart says, well, I believe that is a success.
Was I not supposed to go with it?
Oh. Right. I can fix that. Alright. Stuart then grabs it and goes, I'm sure that's something that would be fixed with proper attunement, but nevertheless, now that we know that the amulet can make it safely, that is far easier to assure. Give me another day and I'll have it ready. He goes back into the
So, well, before he walks off, as much as I don't like him very much, I just put my hand on his shoulder.
Uh-huh.
You did good work.
I
Thank
always do good work, Mr. Delumia.
All right,
Should a day come when I
all
do
right,
not.
all right, go into the tent. Moment's gone.
All right. Okay. Well, that's Steward. All right. We're almost there. We're almost. You know what? I'm looking at the clock. I think it happened again. I don't think the elves are showing up. We're past our end time.
What else do we have to do?
There's almost nothing. Literally almost nothing. We're making good progress compared to what we were doing before. So, I mean, hey, we spent like 2 days during that session, but I definitely gotta stop. I got other stuff I need to do tonight. It's Friday night. All that's left on the to-do list is actually
Friday night?
Tuesday.
Yes, it's Friday night. It was Thursday yesterday.
Okay.
So this session spanned from Thursday at 1 p.m. to Friday at 8 p.m. So the blood tests are pretty much done. The interrogations are almost done. We have to actually teleport to the archives. The amulet will be done tomorrow. The original deadline was Sunday, so we're still ahead of schedule, even if it's done. Like at the end of the day on Saturday, we're several hours ahead of schedule. It might be even done earlier. We got to get to the archives, get that set up, and that's it. And then we're ready for the elves. So, next session for real. The return of Tom Sable.
He actually died of a heart attack last week.
It's only been a literal real life year and 2 months since Brendan proposed the character to me. So, yeah.
And we've seen him 4 times.
Hell yeah.
And
You made
exactly, it's been exactly 13 months to the day that I asked you about resurrecting Cagliari.
Wow. That's D&D time, I guess. We really slowed down the clock with those quests. It was something. Like, I'm glad we did it, but also I'm never doing it again, you know?
I got a boo boo.
Yeah?
Oh.
I'm gonna cry.
Okay. Crotcher Nightmare Part 2. Crotcher gets a boo-boo. Alright, I'm stopping the recording. We're done. Gamer out.